Hey everybody, welcome back to The Detective You Know. We've got a really good one today. And by good one, I mean you're going to hate this guy. So this is involving Officer Miles Bryant. Miles Bryant was a 20-something-year-old police officer who worked for the Doraville Police Department in Georgia. And on July 26, 2022, he was out driving around in his truck in his apartment complex. He was what's called a courtesy officer for his apartment complex, wherein they gave him free rent or reduced rent if every now and then he would kind of just patrol the parking lot of the apartment complex he lived in. So on July 26, 2022, he was doing that, and he observed a 16-year-old female named Susana Morales walking by. She's a real cute girl, real nice girl. Everybody liked her. She was walking home from hanging out with some friends in that apartment complex to her house, which was kind of behind the apartment complex, but she had to walk out the front and walk around. And Miles Bryant observed her. He was off duty, but he observed her, followed her, somehow lured her into his truck, either by promising her drugs, which he had done before with her, and she had refused him. But Susana got in her, or maybe at gunpoint, who knows. But Susana Morales got in the truck, and they drove off. About 4 blocks later, Susana Morales' phone sent an alert to friends and family that she had been in a crash because Miles had taken her phone and thrown it out the window, and that impact with the ground at 40 miles an hour triggered the crash alert that was sent to friends and families. She never returned home that night. And her body was found months later in a wooded area 20 miles outside of town by a guy that was just walking through the woods. And at the scene was a handgun with a light on it. And when the police ran the gun in the computer system, it came back to Miles Bryant, who had reported the gun stolen the morning after Susana disappeared. Then they later learned that Miles Bryant was a police officer for the Doraville Police Department, which was the community nearby. So what you're going to see here is, I'm going to show you a couple things here. A little different, not just the interrogation video, but I'm going to show you the closing arguments of the defense, of the prosecution in this case. That gives you a really good summary of the finite details that I'm not going to bore you with at the beginning here, and gives you a good overview of the case is what I'm trying to say. And then we're going to see the body cam video of 2 detectives and a tactical team that once they learned that Miles Bryant's gun was the one left at the scene, and they had already pulled his phone records and show that his phone pinged in the woods that night at the very time she was murdered and left there. And they'd gotten a warrant for his arrest. I'm going to share with you the body cam video of them approaching Miles outside his apartment. And that's the first part of the interview, really. It's kind of interesting. It's short. And then I'm going to show you the full interview. A lot of times you don't get the full interview on YouTube. I'm going to show you the full interview. There's a half an hour of the 2 detectives who picked him up at his house, kind of just chit-chat and making small talk with him. And the reason for that is, you'll see, is the lead detective, who's a female detective in this case, and she does a great job. Not only does she do a great job in this interview and interrogation, but if you want to see some really good police testimony, watch her testifying in court during the trial. It's just, it's how police officers should testify. She does a great job. But she's probably told them, hey, don't chat him up too much. Don't get into the nuts and bolts of the case until I get in there, because I want to do a proper read, interrogation, interview with this guy. So just kind of hang out with him, make small talk. So that's what they're doing. You'll see a half an hour of that. The reason I'm including that too, though, is it is interesting. It's interesting to see his body language and his demeanor and his behavior with these 2 male detectives, and they're all just chit-chatting, like we see in all these videos, just talking about cop stuff and talking about this and talking about that and talking about guns and stuff and whatever, and how it shifts and changes when she comes in the room and the tactics that she uses. So that's why I'm going to include the whole thing. Hope you guys like this one. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. We're up to 2,500 views right now. I can't believe it. We went from 1,000 to 2,500 in like a week. We went from like 30 subscribers to 61 subscribers in like a week. So we're obviously getting in the algorithm and stuff like that. I don't know about you guys if you know this or not, but I'm just going to put a picture right up here real quick. So the way the algorithm works in YouTube, I'm going to spend like 30 seconds on this, is you become a real YouTuber. It's not just a hobby. You're a real YouTuber at these amounts. And it's 3,000 hours of views and 500 subscribers. If each one of you would share my channel, and to share the channel, just go to my channel, the home landing spot of my channel, and in the top right corner, you'll see the 3 dots or whatever up here. Click on that and then hit share, and that shares my channel, not just the video, but it shares the channel. Or just share a video with somebody. They can subscribe from there too, whatever. But if each one of you, 61 of you now, would, whoops, technical difficulty there. If each one of you would get 5 people to subscribe, we're now at 360, which is almost the 500, and we'll get to the 3,000 hours. I'm confident of that. You can see where we're at right now. So, and that makes me a real YouTuber, and it's not just a hobby. And I just can't believe we're here after only 2 months. Thank you to all of you for watching, and all of you that have commented too. Thank you so much. You've offered such good constructive criticism, encouragement, and that's just rewarding to me. And thank you. You guys are the greatest. And I can tell you're watching the videos because you comment on specific things in the videos, and I really appreciate it. Also, let me know what kind of format you guys like. I've had some people comment and say they really like the long format, like the 3-4 hour ones, because they can just put it on as background noise when they're doing some menial task or something they don't want to do. A lot of you, I think, might like the short format content where you can just click in for an hour or so and dip in, dip out. Let me know what you guys like the best. Let me know in the comments where you're from. I'm always curious to see who's watching. Right now, it seems like 70% of the viewership is in the U.S., which means 30% of you are outside the U.S. I'm curious to see where you guys are watching from, so put it in the comments. YouTube loves that when you comment and stuff like that. So, hit all the buttons and do all the thing. Help me become a real YouTuber and not just a retired dude doing this for a hobby. I'd appreciate it. So, all right. Hope you guys like this one, and I will catch you after closing statements, and then we'll dip into the body cam footage, which I will talk about as that's going on, because that's actually part of the interview. So hope you guys like this this kind of summary with the closing statements at the trial.
He was supposed to serve and protect. Worked as a police officer for the City of Doraville Police Department. Also a member actively of the United States military and the National Guard. He took an oath to serve, and he took an oath to protect. He took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Georgia. He took an oath to uphold all of the laws. He is one of the people that we should trust to enforce the law. Somebody we should hold to a higher standard because of his role in enforcing the law. But he didn't do any of those things. Instead, he abused the law. And he used his badge and he used his position to satisfy his own sexual desires. He is a cop who turned into a killer. His victim, 16-year-old Susana Morales. Susana was in high school. This is her at her quinceañera, her 15th birthday. Not long after this, her life was taken and snuffed out by the defendant. He was supposed to serve and protect his community. He served as a courtesy officer for the Sterling Glen Apartments. He lived in Gwinnett County in Norcross, in the Sterling Glen Apartments, and worked in the city of Doraville as a police officer. But while there at the apartment complex, he was a courtesy officer, which you'll hear is very common in apartment complexes and neighborhoods where police officers will serve to help protect, help police the area, to make sure that nothing bad is happening at the apartment complexes. Not only did he have an obligation to the citizens of the state of Georgia and the city of Doraville, the United States military, he took on the obligation of being a courtesy officer at the Sterling Glen Apartments, where he was supposed to serve. He was supposed to protect. You'll hear from police officers, you're never off duty. You're never not supposed to follow the law and uphold the law. But instead of doing that, at the Sterling Glen Apartments, he abused his power. And Susana Morales, on the night of July 26, 2022, her precious life ended because of the defendant's desire to satisfy his own sexual desires. July 26th of 2022 for Susana was the last day she breathed a breath on this planet. That day, you'll hear that she lived right behind the Sterling Glen Apartments. This is the entrance to the Sterling Glen Apartments on Indian Trail Road. We talked about the intersection there at Singleton Road and Indian Trail Road. Sterling Glen Apartments are located right here at that intersection of Indian Trail and Singleton Road. You were going to hear that the defendant lived in this building back here on the back side of the property. And Susana lived on a road right behind here. Susana had friends that lived in the Sterling Glen Apartments. You're going to hear from them, hopefully today. You're going to hear from her friend Kelly and her friend Alyssa. They lived at the Sterling Glen Apartments in different apartment buildings near the defendant. And on that night, July 26, 2022, Susana told her mother that she was going to go hang out at her friend's house. Asked her mom. She told her mom she was going to hang out at her friend Rose's house. Rose is, her name is Esmeralda Castillo, but she goes by the name Rose. Her mom knew Rose, knew her family, and agreed to let Susana go. But like many teenagers, Susana wasn't being truthful with her mom about where she was going. She wasn't going to Rose's house, and you'll hear Rose lives just across Singleton Road. Within a 5-minute walk from Susana's house. So her mom, Susana's mom, let her walk to Rose's house. But she didn't go to Rose's house. She went over to the Sterling Glen Apartments, where she spent time with her friends Kelly and Alyssa. You'll see some photographs from that night. You'll hear from them about what happened that night with her friends. They sat out on Alyssa's doorstep, listening to music. They smoked marijuana together. They spent the evening together and had a great night. Nothing happened. There were no issues. They were having fun. And then Susana decided needed to leave at around 10 p.m. And you'll hear from Kelly that Kelly walked her from her apartment, or from Alyssa's apartment. Alyssa Marvin lives right here in this building. And Alyssa Kelly and Alyssa and Susana were here in this building. And Kelly walked with Susana to the exit up here on Singleton Road. Right here, there's an exit from the apartment complex on Singleton Road. And you'll hear that Kelly walked her to that exit, said goodbye to her around 10 p.m., and watched as Susana walked down Singleton Road. You'll see here the exit, and Susana began her trip back down Singleton Road. Her road is Santa Ana Drive, and it's right just outside of this picture. There's a business here, King David Academy, and it captured the last images of Susana Morales' life as she walked home to her mom's house around 10 p.m. That is the last time anyone but the defendant saw her alive. The next thing that happened is she didn't come home. She never made it back to her mother's house. No one ever heard from her again. Not a single text message, not a phone call, nothing. She disappeared from life after that moment. What next happened at about 10:29, about 29 minutes later, Susana had Life 360. She had that application on her phone, and you'll hear about that application. You'll hear that she shared her location with a friend of hers named Kaya Jones. Kaya and her were close and friends and part of a friend group, and they would share each other's location all day. And at 10:29 p.m., Kaya received this text message that said, Life 360 detected sudden motion on her phone, on Susana's phone. Could be a result of a collision, hard braking, or a dropped phone. We called it crash alert. And Kaya became concerned. What happened? As any good friend would do. So she started calling and texting Susana. No answer. And what she realized when she looked at the Life 360 was that Susana was no longer traveling down Singleton Road towards her home. Instead, she was traveling at 40 miles per hour down Singleton, across Indian Trail, and onto Steve Reynolds Boulevard at 40 miles an hour. And you'll hear from the detectives, I believe her to be in a vehicle at that point. Her phone and her are traveling down Steve Reynolds Road before a crash alert occurs at the intersection of Steve Reynolds Boulevard and Oak Block Trace. There's an apartment complex there. Kaya, concerned for her friend, not being able to get in touch with her, calls Rose. Have you heard from her? No. Rose calls Susana's boyfriend. Have you heard from her? No. Nobody's heard from her. Nobody knows where she's at. You'll hear from all her friends. None of them got text messages from her. None of them received any phone calls. No calls for help, no distress, just vanished off the face of the planet after 10:29 p.m. when her phone made a crash alert. And you'll hear her phone remained at that location until it died. Her phone never moved from that area, and you'll hear from everybody who canvassed, her friends, the police, everyone. Searched the entire area. Found no trace of her. They did not locate her phone. It's a busy area there on Steve Reynolds Boulevard. They did not locate her phone. They never found it. But it died at that location, and she wasn't there. And you'll hear from the detectives that believe her phone was thrown from her vehicle at that time. Thrown from a vehicle at that time. She did not drive. She didn't have a vehicle. She wasn't driving. She was in somebody else's vehicle. And we're going to argue to you, and you see evidence, it was the defendant's vehicle. At that point, she was in his vehicle, and her phone got thrown out of her vehicle. 16-year-old high school girl, and her phone is separated from her and stays there until it dies. That area right there on Oak Block Trace looks just like that. There are some townhomes there, Steve Reynolds Boulevard, and you'll hear from her friends who looked through the whole apartment complex. Found no trace of her. Through all the roads, the woods, the rivers, the creek beds, everywhere, nothing. You'll hear from the police. There was no crash that night. No reported crash of any kind that occurred that night. And after that moment, nobody heard from her again. Her mother, her sisters, they didn't hear from her. And it was day after day after day with absolutely no word. You'll hear about the police investigation, where they looked, what they did, trying to find Susana. Ultimately, with absolutely zero results. Not a single lead, no messages from her, no calls from her, no text to any friends, nothing. she vanished off the face of the planet after that moment. But what you'll hear is that her family had to endure 196 days of no information. 4,704 hours of absolutely no idea where their daughter was, where their sister was. 282,240 minutes. 16,934,400 seconds. Second after second of a mother having no idea where her child is. Not knowing what happened to her, where she went, who took her, what happened to her. Terror for that family. Second after second after second. Until February 6th of 2023. On February 6th of 2023, what you're going to hear is that a man named Matthew Gilbert was driving down Highway 316 and pulled off on the side of Highway 316. He saw this trail that is right off the side of Highway 316. At that time, it was February, it was winter, there were no leaves on the trees, and it was pretty obvious like this. But in the summertime, you'll see that this area here is completely wooded. You can't even see the pathway, but in February, he was able to see the pathway. And it's a small little path. It's not even a road, it's just a pathway. And he had a little off-road vehicle, and he decided to go off-roading on the side of 316. And he drove down, got out of his vehicle, was walking around, when he stumbled across something that he'll never forget. In this area, right here on the side of Highway 316. This is in Decula, Georgia. The intersection right here, kind of in the middle of this map, is Drowning Creek Road. To the right is towards Athens, and towards the left is back towards Lawrenceville. But in the middle of the woods, on that day, Mr. Gilbert stumbled across human remains. And at that moment, he stopped. You'll hear from him. He'll tell you what he found. And he called the police. I found a human remains in the woods. It's unusual to find human remains in the woods. And he called the police, and the police showed up, and they started to investigate. The medical examiner came out. Crime scene specialist came out. Detectives came out. And they started looking into who could this possibly be. And you're going to hear that very quickly they identified these remains as that of Susana Morales. You're going to hear from the medical examiner, compared to dental records. You're going to hear that right there with these remains, or skeletal remains, they found her fingernails. Still with the black nail polish she had painted on them. She had hair that was dark on the top, with blonde hair on the bottom. They found her hair, still there. But what you're going to hear is that they found nothing else. They found no flesh, no tissue. She was completely skeletal. There was no forensic evidence to really pull from it because it had been 196 days since she went missing. She wasn't buried. Her body was dumped there in the woods. And you're going to hear very importantly that she was naked. Her body was left there in the woods, completely naked. They found absolutely not one shred of any fiber, any clothing, any socks, any pants, any shirt, any undergarments, anything. Her body was dumped naked in the woods. What is significant, the medical examiner who's responsible for performing autopsies conducted what she could of an autopsy on the remains of Susana and found no cause of death. What does that mean? There was no obvious signs of trauma to her skeleton. Right? There was no obvious bullet wound because there's no flesh. There's nothing to look at. She just was able to look at the bones, didn't see anything on the bones that said it was a gunshot or broken bones. They found almost all of her skeleton. They found somewhere between 95 and 100% of her skeleton. There were a few bones missing. One including the hyoid bone, which is in your neck. It can be a evidence of strangulation. You're going to hear from the medical examiner about how she performed the autopsy, and at the end, you're going to hear that she could not conclude an obvious cause of death for Susana Morales. And that is going to be a significant issue that the defense is going to argue to you. That you cannot find Mr. Bryant guilty of murder because there is no cause of death. I think at the end of the case, you'll be convinced differently, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But once the police identified her remains, they began an investigation. How did she end up here? What you'll hear is that nobody believed that she walked herself out into the woods naked and died there, but that it was at the hands of somebody else. That it was criminal, that it was homicide, that it was murder. And they began to investigate who is responsible. The very first piece of evidence was found the next day, February 7th of 2023. When the Gwinnett County Police Department, what you'll hear is that night, they found her body very late in the day, and it became dark very quickly in February. So they secured the scene, they collected what they could, left police officers there to secure the scene, and came back the next morning to continue searching. And the next morning, they located this. This is a Glock 19 9mm handgun, and underneath the barrel is an attached flashlight on this weapon. And when they found this weapon very, very close to Susana's body, they became immediately suspicious. There's a gun in the woods near this girl's body. And so they wanted to know who it belonged to. And they found that it was registered to the defendant, Miles Bryant. So they began to do a little more looking. How could his gun end up out there? What they found, and what you'll hear, is that the following morning after she went missing, July 27th of 2022, the defendant called the Gwinnett County Police Department to report that gun stolen. He claimed that his vehicle had been broken into and that his weapon was stolen from the vehicle. He also claimed that his wallet was stolen from the vehicle at that time. You're going to get to hear that. You'll hear from the officer who took the report. And I want you to remember one important thing. He said to that officer, this is one police officer to another. At the time, he's a police officer. He tells the responding Gwinnett County Police Department officers, just put it on GCIC is stolen. GCIC is the Georgia Crime Information Center. It's where people list stolen things for the police to know. Just, you can put it on there, but I don't want detectives involved. I don't want detectives involved. You don't need to worry about that. To an officer. You'll hear from that officer, Officer Merkley. I'll tell you that was very unusual, especially for a police officer to not want his gun found when it could be picked up and used by somebody else or stolen and used in some other crime, to not want detectives involved in finding it. You're going to hear about cellular tower mapping. You'll hear from Detective Carter. She's going to be the last witness to testify. She's going to talk to you about a lot of different things. But one of the things that she's going to talk to you about is that in her investigation, once they found his gun had been stolen, they thought, well, maybe whoever stole his gun kidnapped her and murdered her. It's reasonable. He lives in the apartment complex where she disappeared from, and he reported his gun stolen the next morning. That would have been a reasonable thought to have. So they continued to investigate and obtained the defendant's cellular phone records. He has two phones. One is a personal phone. The other one is a work phone that is issued by the city of Doraville for his police business. And what you'll see, you'll hear from an expert in cellular tower mapping, Investigator Wilbanks, who will tell you and show you his mapping This is not his method. But he will show you that the defendant's personal phone was located in the woods right next to Susana's body within 2 hours of her disappearance. Not just that, the defendant's work phone was also located in the woods right after Susana's disappearance. This location is over 22 miles from the defendant's home and from where Susana lived. In the middle of the woods in Tequila, Georgia. Nowhere near Norcross. And you'll hear from approximately 12:45 a.m. on the morning of July 27th all the way through 2 a.m. The defendant is right there. He'll give an interview that you'll hear over 3 hours to the police where he discusses this. But his phone has placed him right next to Susana's body the night she went missing within a few hours. Putting both him with Susana and his gun in the woods the night she went missing. It was at that point the police realized that he was not telling the truth about the stolen gun report because he was right where his gun went missing. And what were the chances that some random person stole his gun and kidnapped the individual, Ms. Morales, who disappeared from his apartment complex where he was at, and then he ends up in the exact same location as both her body and the gun. At that point, they significantly suspected him. Ultimately, the defendant is charged with malice murder. That is the count of malice murder. What does it mean? It means he caused the death of Susana Morales with malice in an unknown manner. In many cases, we have gunshot wounds, we have stab wounds, we have injuries that we can point to and say, this is exactly how it happened. This is precisely how the death occurred. And in some cases, we don't. In this case, and in many murder cases, you'll hear at the end, cause of death is not a material element. It does not have to be proven. And we can think of some examples about why that might be true. Any case where we never recover a body, how would you ever prove the cause of death? This is a significant issue. We charged him in a manner unknown because she doesn't have a cause of death. But what we have to prove is that he was responsible. He did it with malice. What is malice? It doesn't mean hatred. It doesn't mean premeditation. Many states have premeditated murder, first-degree homicide, things like that we're used to hearing on television programs and things. Georgia doesn't have that. We have malice murder and we have felony murder. And in malice murder, it requires that you do it with malice. So what does that mean? That means the intent. You intended to kill this person. That's what it means. The judge will give you a full charge on what malice means at the conclusion of the trial. He is also charged in count 2 with felony murder. Felony murder is defined as causing the death of Susana Morales while committing another felony and in an unknown manner. Felony murder is the idea that if you are committing a felony and in the commission of that felony somebody dies, you are guilty of felony murder. And it can happen in numerous situations. It is a very broad statute. In this case, we are alleging that she died in the commission of him kidnapping her and taking her as she was walking home, her dying and ending up in the woods. We also charged him with kidnapping, which means to abduct and steal her away without authority to do so. Now, he is a police officer, but you will hear no evidence of him arresting her, no evidence of him lawfully detaining her, no evidence of him doing anything related to the actual furtherance of the duties. Held her against her will, which caused her bodily injury. The bodily injury portion of this is pretty obvious. She's dead. Also, he is charged with criminal attempt to commit rape. Attempted to commit rape by kidnapping her. All it requires is a substantial step. We're not alleging to you that he did in fact follow through and rape her, just that he attempted to do so. In this case, all that is required in order to prove attempted rape is that he had both the intent to do that and he took a substantial step towards doing it. Right? Doesn't mean that he had to follow through all the way, but that he intended to. And you're going to hear things like the fact that she's found completely naked there in the woods. No other explanation for that. You're going to hear that less than 24 hours after the defendant kidnapped and murdered Susana Morales, he was back on shift working as a Doraville Police Department officer. Went into a Quick Trip gas station located in Doraville, Georgia. There behind the counter was a young woman working the counter. She knew the defendant. He would come in there regularly as a police officer on shift in Doraville. He asked to use her phone. Said that his bank account, he couldn't access his bank account on his phone. And so he borrowed her phone, but he didn't access her bank account. He went into her hidden folders on her phone. He selected a pornographic video that she had made of herself, and he sent it to himself. He texted himself her intimate video on her phone. He then deleted the message from her phone to hide any evidence that it was him. Less than 24 hours. This is around 10:30 p.m., July 27th. That night. You're going to hear other evidence. And lastly, you're going to hear a false report, or receive a false report of a crime. This is him falsely reporting to Officer Merkley that his gun was stolen, when he knew very well that it wasn't. And part of that evidence that you'll hear is that right before placing the Gwinnett County Police Department call to report his gun stolen, which occurred around 10:30 in the morning on July 27th, he went back to the scene where Susana's body was found. Went back out to the woods, all the way from Norcross. He got up that morning and he drove his car all the way back the 22 miles to the wooded area. His phone was placed there at around 9:30 in the morning on July 27th. What you'll hear is that likely he went back to look for his gun that he had dropped in the woods. That gun had a flashlight. At 12 at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, it's pitch black in the middle of the woods. And for whatever reason, he dropped or lost his weapon and went back to look for it. Not finding it, he returned and called the Gwinnett County Police Department to report it stolen. Didn't want detectives involved, but to report it stolen. You're going to hear a charge the judge already read out to you. Reasonable doubt. What is it? What does it mean? The state has a burden, which I gladly accept, of proving this case beyond a reasonable doubt. That he did every one of these things beyond a reasonable doubt. Sometimes it's great to define this in terms of what it's not, and the judge already told you, it is not all doubt. It is not to a mathematical certainty. It is reasonable doubt. Right? The judge used a word that I think embodies this concept the best. It's common sense. You all come in with common sense. You all have common sense. And you are being asked to use your common sense about what happened in this case. When you view the evidence, to use your common sense about what occurred in this case. I'm certain that you will hear arguments that, well, we just don't know how she died. We don't know the cause of death, so you can't say that it's murder. But when you look at all of the evidence at the conclusion of the case, when you see all of the evidence and everything that happened, I'm going to ask you to use your common sense and conclude that he did these things. And when we talk about another concept, direct evidence and circumstantial evidence.
Your Honor, I hate to interrupt, but at this point he's explaining the law, which I do not think is proper in opening. Opening is to tell the jury what you expect the evidence to show.
Mr. Dilfer? respond?
Judge, I think that I'm permitted a little latitude to explain a few concepts that are going to be important for them to understand for the trial.
I'm going to ask you to move on from this, and I'll explain that to them. So I'm going to sustain the objection.
What happened to Susana? You are going to be faced with that question. You are going to have to battle amongst yourselves about what happened to her and what proof is there of it. Could it have been an accident? Could she have taken something and overdosed on something and died? Could there be some other explanation for what happened? Well, you don't have to wonder. You're going to hear the defendant tell you. You're going to get to watch over 3 hours of him telling you that he's never seen her before. He's never even laid eyes on her before. Doesn't know her, never seen her. You're going to hear that he had absolutely nothing to do with it. From his, he goes, I had nothing to do with it whatsoever. I don't know her. I've never seen her. I have nothing to do with it. And it's just a complete coincidence that his phones are there at the scene with her, that his gun is found at the scene. This is what you're going to hear from his own mouth. And then you're going to hear that Detective Carter asked him repeatedly, was it an accident? Did she fall and hit her head? No. I don't have anything to do with this. She didn't. Was it an overdose? Did she take something? No. It wasn't any of those things. It wasn't any accident. It wasn't anything. That's what you're going to hear from his own mouth. On February 13th of 2023, when he was interviewed by the police. And you're going to consider that he has told the police and everybody that there is absolutely no other explanation. He didn't do any of this, and none of this was an accident, it wasn't an overdose, and nothing else happened to her. And you're ultimately going to hear that his lies, repeated lie after lie after lie after lie, for 3.5 hours of having nothing to do with this. But the truth will come out. You will see what the truth is. And my job is to convince you beyond reasonable doubt that everything he said to you in that interview is a lie. I love this quote. There is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open. I expect in this trial that you are going to try and be convinced that something else happened to Susana. This was an accident, that it was not intentional, he did not do it. Or that if he was involved in it some way, that it was an overdose, because she liked to smoke marijuana. Many of you will hear that one time in her past, she had tried what she called acid. Months before, one time, from her friends. They'll tell you that. I'm about to call them. You'll hear them say it. Maybe you'll be trying to convince that this is something, some accident. And of course, the medical examiner might have been able to give you a much better explanation about any of the things that happened to her if her body had ever been located before 196 days. Before her flesh was gone, before all evidence was gone. But I'm going to argue to you at the end of this case that the defendant doesn't get to escape justice because he's good at committing a crime. Because he's good at covering his tracks. He doesn't get to escape justice. And in the conclusion, I'm going to ask you to come back and find the defendant guilty of malice murder, guilty of felony murder, guilty of kidnapping, guilty of criminal attempt to commit rape, and guilty of false report of a crime.
Basketball, so I have to
So just so you guys know, these Axon body cam videos, there's always background video running, but until you activate the sound, they don't turn on, and sometimes there's a delay in the sound. So that's what happened here. That's why you didn't get the first part. It was just quiet. You saw Miles's body language when this guy first got out of the car and walked up. He's kind of got his hands like kind of up a little bit and out, like perp style, like keeping his hands away from his pockets and stuff. He's scared. He's nervous. This is his apartment back here behind him, I think, and this is the parking lot where he would park his car. You see this other officer over here to the right. He's got all of his tack gear on and stuff. I think they did sort of a minor, not SWAT call up necessarily, but like a fugitive apprehension team type situation. Obviously, you're not arresting, but you're approaching and taking a police officer down to the station, and he's at this point at least a person of interest, if not already a suspect. And they just wanted to be sure. Watch also the way the police arrange themselves around him. This is common practice. You don't just stand two-dimensionally on one side of him facing him. They've surrounded him. This should all be. Miles should be taking mental notes of this and aware of this. He's surrounded. They're wearing tack gear. This is for real.
Yeah, you good, man. We've been all over this complex.
Oh, man, you Dorville?
Yeah.
How long you been with them?
2.5 years now.
You like it?
Yeah. So, yeah, when she first was missing, I was talking to the neighborhood kids, stuff like that. They didn't really know anything. I really get to nothing watching the news, and my girl used to stay here. She literally just moved out, and pretty much it. Yeah. Nothing. What are those neighborhood kids saying? I haven't talked to them in a minute, but when she first was missing, it was like they was just with her, and they was joning on each other, some crazy. Yeah. I haven't heard anything actually. Like me and my girl was talking about it, stuff like that. So like it's just weird. They said she was walking home, and she just,
And that's what we're just out here asking questions and stuff. Like how many calls do you get like being courteous? None of us are courteous.
No, I would get like. Like I get stupid calls like noise complaints.
Yeah.
Noise complaints. And
do you have to come out and handle those, or?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I come out. Sometimes I try to get West Side guys.
Yeah.
Come out, stuff like that. Sometimes I ride around a patrol.
Yeah. You're doing a lot more than some. I worked down in the South Precinct where I started, down in like Stone Mountain, and man, there was one courteous officer. He wouldn't do a thing. Like he was calling us for every little thing, man. It was ridiculous.
All right. So we just got some questions. We got to run over some stuff. It seems like you're courtesy here, so you know kind of things what's going on.
Well versed in what's happening in the complex.
So you got some time for us to come up to our headquarters and just talk about what you see on a daily basis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they're doing a nice job of framing this as, hey, we're here because we heard you're the courtesy officer here, which means you have eyes and ears on this place and you know what's going on. So, we're kind of at a standstill with this investigation. We really need you to come down and just talk to us. So they're doing a really nice job of framing it. I love that Miles looks at his watch like, now it's just not real. It's not really a good time for me right now. I got, socks in the dryer and stuff. I got stuff I got to do. Yeah.
Is that to be today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now? No. I was actually finna head out. So
Where are you going?
I have to go meet my girlfriend and I have to work later.
Okay.
Would I be out by the time work? Or?
What time? 4? Yeah, it should be. I mean, like I said, we just got some questions that courtesy officer between you and the leasing office. You guys probably get calls all the day, and we're literally talking to everyone here. So we're just trying to document we got no lease, man. We're just trying to document everything. That's all we are.
No problem.
Okay.
Do I come with y'all? Can I drive there?
We'll drive you, man.
Yeah, we'll take you up there.
Yeah, you don't gotta waste your gas or anything and all that stuff.
County gas, man.
No problem. Can I come?
Well, this just shows you what a dumb cop Miles is. He knows he's the murderer, obviously, but even if you weren't the murderer, and even if you weren't a cop, when the police are saying, no, how about you don't drive down? We'll save you the gas money and just get in the back of our car. We'll take you down there. I mean, that's red flags if you're a normal human being. If you're a cop, that should be 100 red flags waving in your face. But cop, This is why I love these interrogation videos of these dirty cops, because police officers rarely plead the fifth. They rarely lawyer up. They feel a professional, peer pressure, professional obligation to work with the police, talk to the police. I'm one of you, so I'm going to help you, and I know it's the right thing to do to talk to you because I'm the police and you're the police. And so very rarely, I can't think of one where the police officers just immediately lawyered up and said, I'm not talking to you when kind of confronted with this situation. So here you see it again, just not doing the smart thing, doing the dumb thing because he's the dummy.
We'll call her once we get up there, okay? Right now, we'll just go up there. You got any guns or anything on you right now?
No, I don't, actually.
You don't? No. Okay, can I pat you down just to make sure?
What's going on, man?
You're good. It's our policy, man. We just
I know how this road. Yeah.
Just what a dummy Miles is again. What's going on, man? You're patting me down. If you're a police officer, you know that anybody that gets in the back of your police car, if I'm putting my mother in the back of a police car, I'm obligated by operating procedures and by general order to pat her down. Anybody that goes in the back of your car gets patted down for contraband, weapons, whatever. So that Miles is acting all weird that he's being patted down either indicates to me that Miles regularly puts people in the back of his car and doesn't pat them down, or he's just a dummy, which he's a dummy.
Yeah, you know how it is. You know that we don't want to get our balls busted with the GDM and everything.
All right. You can get up front seat, all right, ma'am?
Okay, and that's all we're really going to cover on that. They have some chit-chat in the car on the way to the station, stuff like that. That's not necessarily... I just wanted you guys to see the circumstances under which he was brought to the station because it's kind of interesting. And it's interesting that in the time that it took to get him to the station, he didn't put together all the pieces already and be like, I need a lawyer and a union rep and a lot of different things, and just continue to think that he was going to talk his way out of this because he's a malignant narcissist and he thinks he's got the gift of gab. It's obviously worked on someone in his past before, and he thinks he's a smooth talker and he's going to get out of this. And so again, just another dummy. So let's get to the next video, which is he is in the hot box. He's in the interview and interrogation room with a couple of the detectives that brought him in.
Hey, man. Listen, I'm not here to waste your time. I know you got stuff to do and everything. So we're just going to get started. One of the other detectives here.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. I'm not trying to get you late for work or anything.
So we'll just kind of go back. I know you're a leasing office and all that stuff. The courtesy officer for the leasing office and all that. So I just wanted to go back and see, your side of everything. Okay, so anyone come up to you, approach you? Did you get contacted by the police? I don't, it's been
with this incident.
Yeah,
I live with this missing girl. Not at all. I'm seeing it on the news. I hear about it on the news, people talking about it, stuff like that. But that was during summer months, yeah. July, something, right?
Yeah. You said earlier that some of the neighborhood kids or the other teenagers talked to you about it. Did you remember their names?
It was BJ. I don't know if BJ talked to me, but this kid, they always at the pool. I remember that day. We was all at the pool swimming and stuff like that. I just played basketball with a lot of them right across the street. So, played basketball, then we went to the pool, and it was like, hey, you heard about that Mr. Girl? And then they started joining us, and she was talking about one of them, and but nothing referenced incident. Yeah. They knew her, and they was...
Who is this? You said BJ or something?
Yeah, BJ, I don't know if he still lives there, but BJ and there's a couple other little kids there.
Oh, how old do you think? High school?
High school kids, yeah.
How many high school kids?
Maybe 3.
All males or...
Okay, we always like to talk about the room and the setup and, the whole vibe that's going on here. I'll apologize immediately for this video. When I was a police detective, during the time I was a detective, we actually got a brand new building and a brand new facility built, and it was all cinder block construction. cement walls and things like that, even the interview rooms. And we didn't realize until about maybe 5 or 6 months after we'd been interviewing people in a room similar to this one, and actually worse than this one even, because this one I think has carpet on the floor. Our room had a tile floor and cement walls, and we didn't realize until the prosecutors told us, hey, your guys' interrogation and interview videos are just horrible. They sound like they're shot like in a tin can. We just can't hear anything. The echo is so bad. So later we were able to get some like foam acoustic panels and put all that stuff on the walls. This room is terrible for that. The sound is awful in this, and I'm sorry. So that's why I'm going to have the subtitles running below. That's what it's just so tinny. But yeah, they need to hang some acoustic panels, some fabric panels, or something on the walls in here. It's good that they've got carpet, but I do like the setup. They haven't jammed him in a corner. Now understand, this is a police officer. These two guys just went to his house and got him either coming into his house or coming out of his house. I'm not sure. I think he was coming out of his apartment to go to his truck, and they just kind of sprang on him and had to very much convince him, as you guys are going to see in the body cam video, or as you saw in the body cam video, because I'll play it before this, they had to cajole him to get him down to the station. They can't put too much pressure on him at this point. They can't jam him in a corner. I do like that they're sitting on 3 sides of the table. They're not doing the 2 versus 1 thing. And again, these guys' job right now is some very light questioning, background information, chit-chat until the lead detective comes in. You'll notice they're not going to read him his Miranda rights or anything like that. They've told him he's free to go. He doesn't have to be there. I would argue that they should have read him his Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent, you have a right to attorney, all that stuff, because they brought him down in one of their police cars. They didn't let him drive down. And they also know that he is a suspect. They have all this information, and he's probably really not free to leave. They probably told him it's voluntary and he's free to leave, but I doubt he really is, and a defense attorney could argue that. So anything he says until Miranda is given could get thrown out. But again, I understand why they didn't read Miranda. They're trying to keep it casual. Once you read somebody Miranda, they know they're a suspect and they might clam up. So these guys do actually a good job of just keeping it light, keeping it chit-chatty while getting some information. So let's see what else happens. That's the vibe that's going on right now. I just wanted to cover that real quick.
It was 2 males and 1 female. I don't know the female name or anything. Or no BJ.
So just BJ?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything, like any context to what they were saying about how she went missing? Or like, did they have any speculations?
No, they didn't have any of that. They just told me, this is a regular conversation. No swearing wise. They were just like, so I'm a little nervous. It's like,
You're crazy. You're good.
I don't even get interviewed.
Perfectly sit in this chair, so you're good, man.
But no, yeah, they didn't say anything. So they was looking. I think they did like a walk and look for her. I remember that. They did what they said they was looking for and they didn't see anything.
Who was that?
The boys and the kids, they said they walk and look for her and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were just like trying to, go find her.
I guess I don't know.
Okay.
I had to work, so I don't know.
Did they say like how they knew that she was missing or anything like that?
They said the news.
Oh, just based on
Either the news, and I think she went to Middle Creek, I think. So all the kids went to Middle Creek, they knew her. I think her mom was on Facebook and everywhere.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. How'd you know about the Facebook? Oh, they
when they got on the news and everybody, I'm friends with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So people's reposting it and everything.
Yeah. So when was this? Do you remember when that was?
July sometime.
July,
late July. After she went missing. So.
Okay. Do you know when she went missing?
I know it was July sometime. Okay. I don't know exact dates.
Do you know where those people went to go look for her?
Yeah. I'm assuming from what I saw on the posts and stuff, they did the little signs and it was off Singleton.
Oh, like down Singleton? Like missing person, posted it up, thumbs up or whatever? Okay. Did they tell you, was it around the complex they went through the woods or anything? Did they walk? I know you said they were walking around everywhere.
Yeah, I have no clue. I wasn't there, so I couldn't tell you that part. I don't know where they went. I didn't know off Singleton, and I saw some say they met up at Food Depot.
Food Depot. The one off Tech or?
Yeah. Okay. And Checkers, whatever.
Yeah, what they do there. Isn't that where Pizza Man is?
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's on the other side. Yeah.
Pizza Man's good.
Yeah. A lot of legal things.
Yeah.
Did they make any comments or anything, like saying, you know, what they thought or anything about the case? About that?
We have high school kids, but I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't like ask questions.
It was more.
The rumors go rampant with high school kids. So
It was more. It was
they
like,
said anything in particular?
No, they were just talking like. I guess only thing I remember is like, oh, she was talking about Marlon. I think is his name. She was talking about Marlon. One of the kids there. And I wonder if his name Marlon. What is his name?
One of the
heavy set black kid.
Okay.
Heavy set black kid.
And that was one of the kids with like BJ and that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like Marlon just going back and forth with her, joking around and stuff like that. I guess we call it joning, you know. Joking about.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm 22, you know.
So I guess for us it'd be joshing.
Joshing.
Yeah, you joshing around.
Yeah. I guess it was going back and forth. Her
Between Marlon and the girl?
Yeah.
Okay. Susanna, right?
Yeah,
That's her name?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just think of last night, I think Morales.
Morales?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we'll refer to her as. Okay. So Marlon and Morales are going back and forth?
Yes, they wasn't there. That's the story I was hearing.
Yeah.
I was joking around. You just talking about her. I was like, you know. I was like, okay. And then we moved on from the subject after that.
But nothing else.
That's the last thing I heard about it. But besides the news and talk to West Side guys, not about the incident, stuff like that.
So Miles is lying here. He later, Susana Morales, the victim's friends, said that they had encountered Miles before in the apartment complex, where he had approached them and offered them alcohol and drugs, and they rejected his advances, or whatever you want to call it. So he's really trying to distance himself from Susana, saying, oh, I just heard this from these guys, we're talking to her, and I've never seen her before, and I don't know who she is, and I don't know where she lives, and it's not true.
It was out on the criminal trespass, stuff like that.
Just like calls and stuff?
Yeah, we were just talking and stuff like that, and I was like, dang.
Did they say anything?
The West Side guy?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was like, how you like it here? I was like, it's crazy, man, you know?
The apartment complex?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're like their code 7 or whatever, you like called it in and then they helped the kid?
Yeah, it was a criminal trespass. I could have issued it, but they wanted to trespass with this guy from the leasing office. He came up there scared to live life out of the old property manager. And
that's why she left, huh?
Yeah. You know what I mean, really? I'm sorry, guys, I that compliment.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
So these people, are they always in the apartment complex?
I haven't seen them recently, but I know they play basketball. Like they all play basketball and hang out. They live in that area, so.
Okay. Let's circle back. So, like you said, there's a new leasing manager.
Yeah, Giannis. Not Giannis. Jesse.
Jesse is the new one?
Yes.
Okay, and then who was the old one?
Can I look at the context?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll say.
No, you can.
Damn, I just forgot. I had it on the top of my head.
You got a prescription?
Yeah.
Glasses? Dude, I ripped my contact today.
Man, look at my glasses, man. This is for, I need to get work goggles. This is from chasing.
You with a sick lady?
Yes.
Did you drop them?
Drop them, hit them.
You gotta get the behind that, like the band.
That looks goofy.
Yeah, but then your glasses don't break. Yeah, I'm blessed. I got 2020, so I don't know brag too much.
I just had a name on the top of my head.
Was it Jonas? Is that what you said?
No, Giannis. That's the
maintenance.
No, that's like the assistant.
Oh, okay. Are they still there?
Yes. Oh, real quick, that's good. It was rough. The contact between the last property manager was like, ugh. It was terrible. Hey, Giannis, what's our old property manager name? Laura. All right, thank you. Gwinnett wants it, so who's talking to me? All right.
Laura?
So Laura Bridges. I got her email. Laura Bridges.
Do it. So it sounds like Laura kind of gave like hard times. Like you said that the relationship was kind of So like, was she giving you a hard time?
No, she wasn't giving me a hard time. The contact was other people.
Gotcha.
Yes, a lot of people didn't like her.
Communication.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like her. Apparently, so I said she's good, but I had no problems with her.
So you guys were cool?
Yeah, I had no problems with her.
So this is something I would never do as a police officer. I didn't live in the community that I worked in, which I understand a lot of police officers do, and there are some benefits to living in the community where you are a police officer. I think the benefits increase if it's a bunch of you that live in the community that you police. So you're sort of a community within a community. But if you're just a single officer working in a community, a small community, it presents some problems. And by him taking this job as this courtesy officer in his apartment complex, he's creating some problems for himself. And you can almost hear that maybe there were some problems with the previous office manager, leasing office manager. So if you're patrolling the apartment complex where you live for the leasing office, you're expected to cite violations and to report things to on-duty police officers if you see people doing things they're not supposed to. But yet you also live with these people in this same apartment complex. So now you're sort of the snitch and the rat, and it's going to affect your quality of life in this apartment complex. Just not a good situation to put yourself in, Miles, just for free rent. And if you don't do your job, the leasing office doesn't like you, but if you do your job fully, your fellow apartment residents aren't going to like you. One of the real reasons that Miles probably took this job, and you're going to hear some of that this later, is he had access to the surveillance cameras in the apartment complex. And Miles would go access those cameras and spy on his girlfriend. His girlfriend used to live with him. She recently moved out, but he would spy on her. He would watch her whereabouts. He would pretend to go into work, or he'd pretend to leave the apartment complex, but he'd go to the leasing office and he'd watch the surveillance cameras and spy on his girlfriend. And he was probably spying on Susana Morales as well, because she was a frequent visitor to this. So, this guy just abused his, we'll talk more about Miles later and his abuse of his position, but he even abused his position as a courtesy officer in this leasing department, apartment leasing department.
How's the leasing office like in general? Like, is it run good? And
It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they got good staff.
They good staff. Are they ever shady about anything?
Not that I would think of.
Okay.
Like, a while ago, I don't know how long, I don't know if Laura was there, maybe there's one prior to her, like, I think it was the case a year or two ago, that we had a problem with that leasing office, like they were trying to hide. I think there's somebody that works in the office did something, they were trying to like hide it.
I don't get that involved at all.
Yeah.
I got a key, not even to the leasing office, got a key to the side door or whatever, and was to the gym and bathroom, and that is absolutely it.
Is it a nice gym?
It's decent.
Did you work out? You work out there?
Yeah, try to. I had a membership with Platinum Fitness and one at Crunch and Chambly.
Yeah.
I never had time to go, man. Working nights suck.
Yeah.
Bro, I love working nights. What are you talking about? You
Well,
just
I
don't
love
get
working
sleep.
I love working nights, but home court sucks, bro. It does.
Well, what time you typically, like, today you had to work at, you go, typically there at 4. Like, what time would you typically get up? Or, like, would you just try to stay up all night Sunday?
No.
Why these guys are doing such a good job is they already know. These two know that Miles is more than likely the person who committed this crime based on the phone evidence, the tracking evidence, the physical evidence at the scene, his fake police report of his gun being stolen the morning of this murder, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Not to say they have tunnel vision or they're going to have confirmation bias or anything like that, or they're just locked in. But when the evidence piles up as thickly as it already has in this case, you can be pretty confident. They're smiling, they're joking around with him, they're just 3 cops in a room talking, and that's why they're doing such a good job, because Miles is speaking freely and he's comfortable. And as I always say as a detective, if they're talking, you're winning. They're winning big here. And it's pretty tasty for these detectives. They're the ones that are going to put the handcuffs on him at the end of this. So in 2.5 hours, it's going to go from this to put your hands behind your back, which is got to be very satisfying for these two, putting this murdering, maybe even serial murdering cop behind bars.
Sometimes on my off days, I'm on a regular schedule.
Same, that's what I did.
So now on off days, I'm on a regular schedule. So.
When did the property manager switch from Laura to Jesse?
Maybe a month ago. Might be sooner than that, but it's recent.
How often do you call the leasing office of Jesse?
Is that your main point of contact, or is
Yeah, he used to be honest, but me and Jesse we talk fairly. We have a problem, stuff like that, we talk to Jesse.
Okay.
Just like that. And I didn't really talk to Jesse too much. They trying to redo my lease, stuff like that, so they were saying what they want to see more on the property. They want to see more patrol, so they barely saw me.
The same BS.
I did barely patrol, you know. When I did, I'll ride around a little bit, and I'll leave, go somewhere else, you know.
Yeah. How often did you contact?
I was just watching these two officers. Let's talk about their clothing. We never really talk about that much because it's not really ever been an issue. I do like the way these guys are dressed. When I was a detective, I wore a suit every day. I didn't wear a tie, but I wore a suit with a button-down shirt. And when I would go out in the field and interview people or go into an interrogation room, I always just felt like the suit not only gave me confidence, but it also let them know that they're dealing with somebody in a suit. You know, you talk to people wearing a suit differently. You talk to people wearing a T-shirt or a flannel shirt or whatever. These gentlemen are dressed casually as detectives, but they're dressed nicely. They're both wearing button-down, Under Armour, tech material shirts and pants, and they've got nice shoes on. Their shirts are tucked in. This is the modern version of the professional detective. Like I said, I wore a suit. I didn't dress like this, but I've seen way worse. I've seen way worse in my own department, unfortunately, than this. These guys look nice, clean cut. They both speak well, professional. I like these guys.
Contact Jesse today. Have you talked to her on the phone?
Yeah, I haven't talked to her. I called her. I didn't talk to her.
Okay. What about Jonas?
Yeah, I called her.
When?
Earlier.
Besides right now, you called her one previous time. Okay. So you're fairly in contact with them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't want to circle back. So is it always the same two males, Marlon and BJ, and then the female?
No.
So they
in a little group,
interchange?
yeah, but it's kids that walk from other neighborhoods.
Yeah, they don't live there, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, it's a lot of kids that walk from other neighborhoods.
Like hang out spot?
Yeah, play basketball and Junior.
Is there another one?
Junior's
That's his name?
Yeah, Junior. He's older. He's my age. He graduated from Middle Creek. I know a little bit about him.
Did you know him before back in high school?
No.
What were you about to say about him?
No, he comes and plays basketball. I haven't seen him. I haven't played basketball in a minute. I've been working between side jobs and my girlfriend. It's crazy. So I've been busy. But he used to come play basketball, stuff like that. And he lives nearby. I don't know exactly where he lives. He said he lives right nearby, though.
Would you think Junior would he have any information that could help us, you think? If he's hanging out with the kid,
yeah, he could.
The younger crowd.
Do you know how I could contact him?
Oh, I think I got his number. Let me see. Because when I first got there, I gave my number to a lot of people. So like that. With courtesy officer, I don't know why I did that, but
How many calls do you get from random?
Not a lot, but when I do get them, they'll call back to back to back to back. I'll show you before we get out of here. And they'll call back to back. Hey, they're still making noise. No courtesy officer. And the whole time I'm at work, I swear, I'm sorry, I'm not saying I'm going out for North Way. Right. I'm not saying going that far. Junior from Sterling, I think it's Sterling.
From, what is SG?
Sterling. That's the apartment complex.
What is it called? Sterling? Oh. Sterling Glen. Is that close by?
That's the apartment complex. That's my apartment complex.
Oh, okay. So, how does the courtesy, do they have a direct line to you? If you didn't give your phone number out,
Yeah, it's the courtesy, what's it called? It's I don't know, it's not an app. I don't know what they got, a call system.
Gotcha.
So I get a call from, I said apartment complex is the name I named it.
Yeah.
And then that's the mailbox number. So if I get a call, it'll come to me, I answer it, and I put the password in, and it'll tell me you have a courtesy call, da-da-da-da. But if I miss the call, I have to call back, put the mailbox number, and put in the password.
So that's basically, you can either call the leasing office or on the mailbox when you pull in? Like, how do people get this phone number?
So when you first move in, they give it to you. So it's technically,
so it's like a random phone number.
no, it's technically you call it, look up an apartment complex.
Yes.
It's technically that.
But you press that number,
and
then it directs you to, okay, and then they press that button and it calls you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I miss a lot of them.
I get it. I'd probably do the same thing. Deny.
Yeah, I don't just deny it now.
So you're better.
I mean, he's describing what a terrible courtesy officer he is and how many courtesy calls he misses and just doesn't care. No, he wanted to be a courtesy officer for two reasons. He wanted the legal authority to prowl and patrol around his apartment complex without raising suspicion. And he wanted access to the security cameras. Yeah, this guy just abused the badge and abused his position in every job he had.
I had to come move out here. Yeah.
I mean, what's the craziest thing someone's called you about? Like, there's got to be some kind of outlandish thing somebody's called and complained about.
Well, I haven't got any crazy complaints besides like noise complaints, stuff like that. But like, I think Miss Laura used to call me a lot when like she had problems with residents and stuff that was at the leasing office, and she'd call me friends and say, "Miles, I need help. They're bringing on the door." Now the whole time we nowhere
That's
near.
a 911 situation.
I called, and then she only like when she's saying, "Oh, when that came out, they said they can't take a report, they can't charge us because they didn't do anything." I was like, but they did. They said that. They didn't,
Yeah.
I wasn't there, But
I mean, she demands a report. We'll write one, but I mean, it's not.
she wanted to charge. She wanted everybody to look chill.
I mean, what if they lived in the complex? Was she still one of them CT? Like,
She said,
like a leasing office
that's
itself?
what she did. She
How are they supposed to get their mail?
So she had to tell them to go to the mailbox or they had to deliver the mail. But she CT. I literally saw her CT somebody from the leasing office.
Yeah,
and they did it.
That's ridiculous.
Because I guess it's different numbers. So
Yeah, I mean, technically
You could, but how do you use the stuff on the property? Like, how do you use the leasing office, the gym, the mailbox, the pool? That's what I'm saying.
Like, CT from the whole area. I don't know how that plays out with rain and all that, but
or court.
Yeah,
like, I would
she
think that
took that guy to court. So I don't know how that played out.
You bring up a good point, though. If I'm paying rent, part of my rent is to use that gym and the other facilities. And if you CT me just because you got an argument, then I can't use that shit. So, man,
she took him to court. So
that's a good thing she ain't there anymore.
You ever walk around on foot or anything like that?
Not really. I don't know. I used to run a lot. So I used to run, and I really never walked though.
Where'd you run to?
I used to, like I got my Google. I used to run. So I used to do a mile. It'll be start from my apartment, either go up or down, go around, and go down. It's like, my leasing office is a fork.
Yeah.
So go down that way, turn around.
Just in the apartment complex?
Yeah.
You wouldn't go out?
Yeah. Go up.
I don't let me.
Go up and then come back down and go back to the apartment. And right before I come up the hill where you guys were coming from, right before that part is hit a mile.
Oh, wow.
That's when I started running.
That's a hilly mile.
I'm in all the know, man. I'm SWAT. I'm trying to get everything right.
How do you like SWAT?
It's fun.
Is it?
It's fun. I want to come to Gwinnett where it's more active, but
I mean, yeah. SWAT's, that's whole.
Are you on like the North Metro team?
No, that team is Chamblee, Dunwoody. We Dorville, we have our own.
Oh, okay.
So that team is cool, but they only allow like 3 members from each department, and we got a 30 minutes watch team.
That's not bad.
You been through your basic yet? Basic SWAT school?
No, not yet. I'm just watching it. I want to go.
Have you had any call-outs?
I'm outside right now on my patio, and I'm getting attacked by bees. So if you see me waving around, don't worry, I'm fine. I'm just trying to keep these bees away from me.
Yeah, we had a call out the other night. Barricaded suspect. I was actually at work, and when the call came out, it was a threats call, and he was at the window. He said, "Well, he put a gun on me." I was like, "Oh, do you want to press charges?" And it was like, "Oh no." And it was like, "All right, just leave. He's drunk." So that's my supervisor's decision. I was like, "All right, just leave. He's drunk." He's like, "You cool with leaving? Do you want to press charges?" He was like, "That's fine." And then he was like, "Oh, my keys are on the table." And the guy wouldn't open the door. So he was like, "Can we get our keys? We don't rush. We don't really just 4 o'clock in the morning. We're not trying to ignore reports. We get off an hour." And he comes to the window with like AR-style rifles. Dang. So I dropped the rifle, He started barricading the windows. And I'm like, well, go barricade. Dang.
So what'd y'all do?
They called SWAT out, and I switched over and went out there. The guy ended up coming out. It was airsoft.
The others surrounded and did an announcement.
Yeah.
Is that your normal SOP?
Yeah. They called him and he came out. They talked to him for like hours.
Oh, like CNT, the crisis people. Y'all got a crisis negotiation?
Yeah, we do. But it was just one of the officers that speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
He was cool with it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's been out
Spanish speaker, probably. Did y'all have a Spanish speaker like on scene before it went?
Yeah, because he was on a part-time and he came.
Yeah. Dang. So, I mean, being the new guy, like I was on SWAT at one point, you're kind of stuck on containment. Is that the way y'all's team works?
Yeah, I was on the corner.
Yeah. It's fucking boring.
How many guys do y'all have?
Like 20, 30.
Dang. For a city agency?
Yeah.
That's
It's
a lot.
20, 30 on the roster. It's never 20, 30.
Wait.
Oh yeah, you never get the full roster.
It's never 20, 30. We got guys on DA task force and guys on detectives, so they just everywhere.
Yeah.
And guys live freaking like hour and a half away, so they never get there in time.
Yeah.
By the time they get there, it's all done.
Yeah.
Dang. How long you been on SWAT?
I don't know. Had to be 6 months after I was there. It was a year before I was there, so it hasn't been a year.
Yeah.
A little under a year, I was saying. A little under. It's been since.
So you've only had one call out?
Yeah, we get a couple search warrants. We don't have call outs.
Man.
That's why I said it's boring.
No, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome.
I mean, the OT is nice.
So just a little bit about Miles Bryant. You know, he's a young guy. I think he said he's 22. He's 22, decent looking guy, obviously educated, well spoken, can carry a conversation, seems personable. He was on the SWAT team at the PD. He was in the reserves or National Guard, I think National Guard, from the Army. Dude had a lot going for him. And because of his sexual deviancy, which we'll talk about later, a long history of sexual deviancy since he was 16, 17 years old, he just throws all this away. All of this future that this guy could have had. It's just...
But when you're stuck in a house for fucking 19 hours in the freezing cold, you start rethinking your commitment.
I fell asleep behind a tree the other night.
For real? You know SWAT too?
Yeah.
Hey, you're a corporal, right? Yep. I've met you.
Where?
Sterling. Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
I've met you.
I mean, I've been there. I've been up and off the road, though, for a minute.
Corporal Mac?
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Eric.
I don't know where. I feel like I met you. I don't know where. I talked to a lot of Gwinnett officers.
Yeah.
Like QTs, I love talking Gwinnett officers.
Well, when I was on the road, I was at the QT getting that drink.
That's a guarantee you can find officers a quick trip.
Do y'all have a quick trip down there, too?
Where?
At Dorville.
Yeah, not for real.
So for those of you that are not watching from the South, he's going to talk about QTs and Quick Trips a lot. QT. Quick Trip is like a gas station, but it's more than a gas station. There's like a mini mart there. A lot of them have like delis and other things in them. For those of you that are familiar with Love's or Sheetz or things like that, the bigger gas stations with like the food options and the stores inside them and stuff like that. That's what he's talking about, these QTs, Quick Trips.
Yeah.
It's terrible. The one I'll be from was absolutely terrible because Marta.
The homeless people just sit right there.
Absolutely terrible. Yeah.
Any good quick trips you can hang out at? Because that would my
Yeah, I did one off right before you guys is off Winter Travel.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's a good one.
That's a main one, right?
Yeah. No, the truck stop for me went off Pleasant.
Yeah, because I always bring, like, I've worked nights 5 years, so that I always brought my food and used the quick trip microwave. Did you bring your own food, or like, do you go out? You have time to go out? Yeah.
Yeah, so what they're talking about right now is, you know, I work nights, I use the microwave at the Quick Trip, whatever. If you're a cop, work at midnight shift, which I did for roughly 6 years, you become very familiar with the places that are open 24 hours, that are open at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's your only like, what's the word I'm looking for? What I'm looking for. It's the only place where people are. It's the only place that's alive. It's the only place that's got anything going on. Instead of just aimlessly driving your patrol car around. Civilization. That's what I'm looking for. Jeez. Ooh, it's been a long morning. That's your only signs of civilization is at the 24-hour. We had 7-Elevens and a couple of gas stations that were open 24 hours. Yeah, I was in that 7-Eleven 3 times a night between the hours of 2 and 5 in the morning. And it's just a good thing to stay there. You know, there's the old saying, nothing good happens after 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever your saying might be. So we made sure we dipped into made our presence known at the 24-hour places between 2 and 5 in the morning, to keep them from getting robbed, drunk people from fighting, stuff like that. So that's what they're talking about here.
Yeah, we had time to eat, man. It's calmed down. It's a lot of good stuff. There's like Hispanic food and it's like Chinese food. And
I feel like every time I try to go eat, I either walk into a restaurant, get in a drive-through, and the alert tone will go off. Something. I'm like, not even now.
We got back and watched it. That's pretty cool. Back on.
Yeah,
like, all right, you still 10-6? But yeah.
Man, y'all sound like y'all got each other's backs, whereas I don't think ours do that quite as much.
It's your call, man. You handle it.
Let's see who else would help you on this.
Does the leasing office have cameras, do you know them?
You know what? I always green screen it for you guys. For the rest of this part of the interview interrogation before the main person comes in, I'm going to ungreen screen it. You guys can see where I'm sitting at. I don't know. It's a nice day out. Just something different instead of me all green screened all the time. It's only going to be like 10 minutes, but I'll just leave that up for a bit. So, like, wherever I'm at, like, over here on your screen, you'll see the whole thing.
Please tell them.
Or like the camera that's not really a camera.
I don't know. I've seen cameras out there, but I don't know. I have no access to them.
You don't know if they
so that's something I get you guys to do because I like
we tell all the complex.
Because we have Interrogation out the butt.
I bet y'all do.
Like my truck I broke into, I unlocked it. Okay.
Nah, you're one of those guys. Come on, man.
But my truck got broke into, and it was called Interrogation in progress a few months back on the city. My girl got home. She was like, "Hey, babe, I know a little bit about the police, and I like these guys are breaking the cars." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, they all got ski masks on. They're riding slow riding. They call slow riding, or she calls it slow riding." I was like, "All right." So I was there watching. They broke right bad me. They got out, looked in the car. I was like, "Oh God!" Then they saw me. I was in my truck, man. Then they saw me. Then I kind of like left, stuff like that. So I kind of like followed them. I was like, I was like, trying to call my dad. And I looked over and it was a car. The window wasn't broken, doors open, receipts all on the ground.
So you rummaged through it? They went through it all?
Yeah, they door checked it. I guess they did. I don't know. They went out. They drove. Just took off. Hit gas. Turned or whatever.
What kind of car was that?
It was like a Lexus. Like a older style Lexus with a temp tag. Temp tag was always temp tag. It was temp tag. Always like destroyed. But I was trying to get tagged because I wasn't 1080. I was like, whatever, bro, you know? So I saw going out. I forgot where he was sitting at. Can't really remember. He was sitting somewhere. I pulled up and said, "Hey, Aaron Auto Perps. I'm not going to get no more." They went that way in this car. He was like, "All right, I'll let the guys know." And I went back home with her.
There you go. Are there any like weird, like suspicious people that are common?
I don't know why Miles is sharing these stories with these cops. He's just talking about as a courtesy officer, he encountered a bunch of guys in ski masks in this Lexus driving away from a car with broken windows, glass on the ground, everything rubbaged on the ground, and these dudes in ski masks driving away. And he, quote, followed them for a little bit and then put his girl in the car and then drove off. Did nothing. Didn't call the police. I mean, as a courtesy officer, you're not going to act on that. You're not going to detain them. He is not in uniform. He's off duty. He's not authorized to do that. But you call it in. You get uniformed patrol car officers and patrol cars there to chase down this Lexus full of guys in ski masks that are breaking into cars. He did nothing. Just nothing.
Going through, because I know we got a couple of apartment complexes that have like the same homeless dude walk around, hang around. You got anybody weird like that?
Yeah, so I don't know if he's been at. I mean, I haven't seen him, but it's a couple. So it's a couple that used to live on a property. I know exactly where they work at. Blue Sky, right there in Norcross. You know that? Right there off. It's a car wash. Blue Sky car wash, right there in Norcross Beaverwood. And the reason I know I worked there because I got a membership there with my patrol car, and I get a work.
You saw him there?
Yeah. And him and his girlfriend used to live on a property, but he's a gangbanger. He caused a lot of issues on the property. I was never really on him. Like, hey man, I used to try to be the cool one. So hey, the leasing office trying to kick you out of here. Don't do that. So I don't be bad guys. I still live on the property.
Oh yeah.
But he's like drug deals. He's on private property. Apparently, I think he's Crip.
Mm-hmm.
That's from what I heard, and he wears a bandana and stuff like that. I'm not gang certified, of course, but I think he's Crip. He carries a gun. And after they kicked him off the property, that's all I see him on the property walking. I'm pretty sure he thinks his girlfriend used to still live there, but that's what I always see him on the property. They used to call.
Do you remember his name or anything?
Oh God, I don't know his name.
Did y'all ever CT him?
Listen off, so they want to do stuff, but then they don't want to do stuff.
Yeah, and then when it comes down to it, they don't do it, right?
Yeah, so it's like they used to call me and be like, hey, that guy remember that guy we big? They be like, yeah. So, well, he's on the property. I'm like, if his family lives there, he could come on our property. Yeah. Patrol and leave. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like
so nobody thinks that you stay there
when you're going to the gym or something. Just do an extra.
I do patrolling. I'll park at the leasing office and go in and work out. Or run. What I started doing now is by the park at the soccer field next to it.
Yeah.
So the track thing, I run that.
There you go.
But
how long have you been in the military? You're a National Guard, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
2018.
2018? What was that? 4 years? Coming up on 5 years?
Yeah, I was in high school when I joined, so.
So you did like our RNCC program?
Yeah, I did split up. So between my junior and senior year, I went to basic training.
And this is
and then I
poignant.
graduated
The
high
cut
school, played
through.
football,
People
stuff like
will
that,
cut
and went
through
to
there all
MP
the
school.
time.
Oh, God, I didn't know you did that.
Susanna Morales' house
So
was
when
actually
did you do
behind
MP
this
school?
apartment complex.
2019.
So
And
you're
she
out of
was
high
cutting
school
through
at
the
that point?
apartment complex
Well, where's that at?
to her house
MP school?
Yeah.
when
Portland,
Miles
Missouri.
spotted her,
Dang.
followed her,
Dang.
abducted her.
How long is that? Like 8 weeks or something?
Yeah, 10.
Interesting. He was talking
I did the
about
whole thing at once. It would have been 20,
one of the
but it's
elements
10.
Oh, so you did basic.
of this
and
crime.
Came back
He's
and
just
did
talking about that.
Where'd you go to basic at?
Officers.
Portland.
Yeah, it's cut through. It's cut through.
That's cool. You like that? MP?
Yeah, it's cool. I'm about to get out.
Yeah, I had a buddy. He was Air Force MP. He didn't last very long.
It's inconvenienced my life, like I'm trying to buy a house and
It's extra money though, right?
$200,
A month or what?
For drills, $200 check, for my range.
Once a week or once a month?
Yeah.
So $200 a month?
Yeah.
That's not a lot, man.
So it's really, I mean, they got good benefits, stuff like that. Like I'm staying into the end of this contract, trying to get my B home loan.
No,
Yeah, there you go. So then you
that's
can
smart.
help you out buying a house. That's good.
Other than that, that's all it really is.
All right, well, I think Carter's here. Let us just step out and brief her so she doesn't ask any more questions.
I got you.
We'll just see if she's got anything else, okay?
All right.
If you want some more water or anything?
Oh, yeah, I got some more.
Yeah, I'll get you for you.
God, guns off and everything, man.
Oh, that's our policy.
I know. I'm just.
So we've talked about this before. When they walk out, they ask him if he wants any water or anything. They don't ask him if he wants to get up and leave or go to the bathroom. They're keeping him in there. He ain't free to leave. But Miles makes a comment. Oh man, you guys got your guns off and everything. That's if Miles hasn't clued in already that they drove him down here in a police car when he didn't want to come, and if he hasn't picked up the vibe so far with this questioning that he's a suspect, he may have just realized that when they are interviewing with the guns off that he's a suspect. You don't casually talk to another police officer and take your gun off. Now those guys were quick to respond. Oh man, it's our policy, which is good. We've seen a lot of interviews lately, especially the man slap me MFer guy that was getting in the face of that police chief. He's got his gun on in the interrogation room, which is such a no-no. So, like I said, I like these detectives. They're professional. They're following the rules, even though it's just another cop that they're trying to make chit-chat with or appear to make chit-chat with. They got their guns off, and Miles caught on to that. So, interesting.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
are you mad at me?
Well, I'm mad at you.
Because I had you sitting here waiting for me.
No, you good. Hey, I'm Carter.
How are you?
Sorry, good.
Patrols and...
I try to patrol sometimes at night or.
Okay, so this is the lead detective. Like I said, if you find this case interesting, the whole trial is interesting. I believe it was on Court TV, but the local local news channel affiliate down here also has this entire trial on its website. Just search Miles Bryant trial. You'll get the whole trial from beginning to end. It's a good one to watch. It's quick. It's succinct. There's not a whole lot of extraneous testimony. And this detective on the stand does such a good job. She gets emotional on the stand a little bit too, and not unprofessionally emotional, but you could tell this case busted her up as well. I mean, it's a murder of a 15, 16-year-old girl by a fellow police officer. So she comes in. You'll see that the detective with the sleeve tattoos has moved over to the other side now. He's sort of second, detective in here. He's going to kind of fall into the Rocky territory from the Daniel Holtzclaw. He doesn't say much, and when he does, it really doesn't add anything to it. And the lead detective usually just ignores what he's talking about. He'll talk about ridiculous things like, I don't know. You'll see. You'll catch on. He would be better served just to not say anything, but I understand why he's in there. He's to take some of the pressure off and to keep it, hey, we're just a couple of cop dudes talking about cop stuff, and keep it light. So he does fine. He doesn't say idiotic things like Rocky did about masturbating right-handed and stuff like that. The only critique I'm going to give of this detective, and you'll see, and you'll get uncomfortable watching it, I do. She really moves in on him. At one point, her knee is practically touching his groin area. She's moved in so close. I mean, she keeps positioning herself so close to him. And I know a lot of police officers and detectives do that as sort of a pressure applying tactic. I'm up in your stuff. You can't escape. You can't look away. You're kind of trapped. But she does it very early on, and you'll see.
In daytime,
That would make more sense, yeah.
Yeah, in daytime, but what did I do that? I don't know what we did that day. Me and my girlfriend, I have no clue.
Okay. Would she know? We have better memory than you. No, okay.
What's
her name?
Synovia.
Synovia. Oh, how you spell that?
SANO.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell her. What's her last name?
Parks, PARK.
Parks. You know her birthday?
Yeah, June 26th. That's the one.
I was about to be like, I'm gonna totally tell her guys. All right. How long have you guys been together?
About 3 years.
Okay. She lived with you?
Yeah. Well, she did. She just went back to her mom's recently, but she did live with me.
Oh.
Yeah, long story.
That's okay. I get it. So you say you don't know where you guys went. Did you get food, something?
We always get food, yeah. We're probably sure we got them. It was a while ago. It was a few months back,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty sure we got food and stuff like that. We ain't got a lot. We ride around and hang out, go chill and everything.
Okay.
It's funny. I wonder if that's a local, like, colloquialism. Colloquialism. Did you guys get food? Yeah, we always get food. Oh yeah, I get food. We got food. Here in Michigan, we say get carry out or take out, to go, dinner to go. We don't use the phrase got food. We went to get food. We got food. That would imply going to the grocery store in Michigan and getting like groceries. So I wonder if that's a Georgia Southern thing. Put in the comments below if you're from the South and we went to get food or we got food is the same as getting carry out or takeout. Curious.
When you patrol, do you like talk to the kids or anything? I know there's a lot of kids around there.
Mm-mm. Oh,
or the community members or whatever.
Not really. Not when I patrol. Like I told them, I know a lot of the kids in the neighborhood and stuff like that.
Like
BJ, a couple kids that play basketball. Everybody that play basketball, I kind of know.
Mm-hmm.
Not but I play basketball
just
with.
Acquaintance, yeah.
That's it, right? But I don't remember ever while patrolling, stopping, talking to kids, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any issues with them like smoking weed and stuff outside?
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Okay. So you don't talk to them or anything?
Mm-mm. I told the one guy I only talked to about that, he doesn't live there anymore. He works at the Blue Sky Car Wash.
Yeah.
The Blue Sky?
Possible crib.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
We gotta work.
So just real quick, too, let's talk about the setup. This detective will later mention in her testimony in court that she's, unfortunately, everyone is sitting where they are. I believe she says that normally the suspect is sitting where the detective with the tattooed sleeves is. You want your camera in the interrogation interview room to be facing the person being interviewed and interrogated so you can see their body language, facial expressions, things like that. I think they're the way they are still is because of the way the first two detectives came in and where they had him sit. And when she came in, she didn't have him get up and move. She's just left him there. So unfortunately, you've got this extreme, Goodyear blimp view looking down on the interrogating detective, and you're kind of got the same view of Miles, which is unfortunate. They should be sitting differently, and she acknowledges that later. Sorry, my voice right now.
There.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Beaver Run?
Blue Sky Car Wash?
Yeah.
Beaver Run is what? I'm trying to think, where's that?
Can't think of the cross street.
No, you're good. I just don't remember that one. It could have been another one and then it just got renamed. Okay. So you said he may know something, or?
Yeah, I don't know if he would, but he might. He was always in the neighborhood. The apartment manager used to always call and be like, this guy, that guy we kicked out, but yeah, he was like, he's in the neighborhood. I was like, can't really do anything about that. But,
okay. What did you hear about it? Did anyone call you about it, like the apartment complex or anything?
I told him I was at the pool one day, and every kids they mentioned it and stuff like that, and they were just talking about them just arguing with her and stuff like that.
Who?
I keep saying his name Marlon. I do not think his name is Marlon.
You said Marlon Jr. and BJ.
Junior, BJ. And I don't know if his name is Marlon. It's heavyset black kid. I don't know if his name is Marlon.
Yeah.
I know Marlon like that. So they were saying he was arguing with the heavyset black kid right before she went missing or something like that.
She was arguing with the heavyset black kid?
Yeah.
Is that Marlon?
I think his name is Marlon.
But that's who you're referring to when you say Marlon, the heavyset black kid.
Yeah.
What were they arguing about?
I have no clue. I don't know if it was.
So this is Miles's first red herring, send these detectives down the wrong path that he's going to do here, which is, oh, hey, there's all these kids that are always playing basketball and hanging out. Marlon's this one kid. There's this heavyset black kid. And I heard from them that they were arguing with her the day before she went missing. None of that's true. Later, Miles is going to admit in court that she was in his car and that he drove her to the woods, but that you can't prove I did anything to her because there's no evidence that I did anything to her. And they just kind of leave it open-ending. It's a very weird defense in this case. So knowing that in the future that Miles is going to admit that he did pick her up and drive her to the woods, it makes all of these lies important. And that's why I always say, if they're talking, you're winning. And even if they tell you lies for 2 hours, as a matter of fact, this detective even mentions this in her testimony. She goes, I knew he was lying to me. I already had the phone records. I already had the pings. I already had, that I knew his gun was found at the scene and belonged to him. I already knew that it was a lie that it got stolen. I already knew it was a lie that he'd never seen her before. But he goes, I'd rather have him lie to me for 2 hours than to lawyer up or say nothing, because I can use his lies against him later when I have evidence to disprove his lies. So that's what's great about all of this. Everything he says in this interview virtually is a lie. And when you later have to admit in court, oh yeah, well, she was in my car and I drove her out there. Well, then why all these lies, bro? So it's again, they're talking, you're winning.
Actually arguing with Joni, the joshing.
Yeah, I know what Joni is. Yeah, I know what it is.
But that's the last thing I heard besides the news and Facebook posts and stuff.
Have you ever seen her?
Mm-mm.
She used to be over here quite a bit.
Oh, okay. I haven't recognized the picture. I haven't recognized it.
Have you seen a picture of her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you made the report, you said that you possibly went out patrolling that night. Do you remember anything sticking out? Anything that stands out to you?
Not really. That time, no. That was a while ago, man. So, but nothing of the So last thing I remember, like for that wise was the Arenado guys.
Yeah.
That wasn't. I don't think that wasn't during that time though.
Did you see what they looked like?
No, they all had masks on, so like that. That was the story.
Yeah, this girl came home and said there's some dudes with scab. She's like, I'm not a cop, but I think I know something's going on because there's a bunch of dudes ski masks going in the car.
Yeah, you don't have to be trying to listen.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Did she see what kind of, like, what race they were? They're boy, black. Male, female? You think they're black?
Yeah.
Okay. So I probably would want to talk to Zenobia about that, just to see, like, if she recalls something. Do you have her phone number?
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge you on that one. I'm not going to call you out on it.
Oh, Jesse, just call me. She's
Jesse?
the property manager.
Oh, okay. Can you use to kind of cover for you?
What?
I don't know why she called. Do
Oh, no,
you get in trouble if you don't answer?
No.
Okay.
44-226-2429.
Let me not, because I'm going to get confused. This is Zenobia's. Okay. Do you see any other, like, teenagers walking around regularly?
Yeah, there's a lot of foot traffic though.
Can you describe any of them to me in particular?
I just know people walk. When I be leaving the complex, I see families walking. There's a lot of just foot traffic. I never really pay attention to it. Never really had to.
When you are patrolling, are there particular areas that you sit?
Yeah, sort of. Like I patrol the neighborhood, and then that's really just neighborhood.
Okay. Is there, like, I know when I used to do it, I would have, like, there's usually, like, parking lots and stuff that we would sit in. Do you have anywhere like that?
Not really. I go, like, recently I go, like, so, girlfriend's car cheating a little bit. I cheated first, whatever. So long story, whatever. So I had the cameras in the house, or whatever. So I used to go sit, like a good place I used to sit was right there in the neighborhood.
You can pull up a picture? Will that help? Like Google Maps?
No, it was in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It was right in front of the leasing office and down, like, to the left.
Mm-hmm. Well, from my understanding, I'll just pull it up. No, you're good. I'm a visual person. Because I only know about that exit gate that's on Steamboat, and I don't remember ever really coming in here.
Yeah, I go out the exit gate sometimes to go around, but that's it.
So that's really interesting. So we'll talk about Miles for a second here, because you guys probably don't know this about him. So from the time Miles was about 17 years old until this incident, Miles was a stalker. Miles had 2 reported cases where in high school, he would meet a girl and then all of a sudden he would appear at her house and try and get in her window, or he would try to get in their door. And both these were reported to the police. And then there's a couple of separate incidences, one before, I think, and one after this murder, where Miles met a girl and then went to her apartment and tried to get in her door. And that girl then later, it was later revealed that there was a breaking and entering report made on the day that he met this girl that she reported, but he wasn't a suspect and there wasn't any evidence. But then later there's surveillance video from a Ring camera across the street of him coming to her house and trying her door and trying to get in, which he later explained as, oh, I was just doing a door check because she had reported that somebody tried to break into her house before. Yeah, Miles. She reported the day that you met her when you tried to break into her house after meeting her. And, you know, and you're just randomly going over to her house to do, quote, a door check. And he had his head all covered up and like a hoodie covering himself up, and he never faced the camera, but he's wearing his National Guard pants and stuff, so they know it's him. He was a serial stalker, and it's very interesting that he just admitted to this detective, yeah, when my girlfriend cheated on me, I would go and sit and watch her at this spot. So he's admitting to these stalking tendencies to this detective. It's dumb.
The leasing office. This is it right.
There's a pool right here.
Okay, so this is the leasing office. Sometimes I sit right here, and sometimes I come down here and sit just to watch the camera and start conversation.
Oh, to make sure.
It's hard.
Toxic.
On your own camera at your apartment.
Yeah, something once
At least that's easy to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Sometimes, that's the entrance. Sometimes I come out, go around, come down here. Sometimes come down here. Stuff like that, really.
Okay. So, I know that your gun was stolen. Do you know if it was located or anything yet?
No, I've already been.
I haven't run it yet. We probably need to check that, see if it's still. But the people that called you, your glasses are distracted the hell out of you. What?
He was singing lady and they broke.
What? Look, Gwinnett County about to buy. Oh, you went there. I was about to say Gwinnett County.
Look, these are 8 up. Like,
What is that? Let me see.
Okay. We talked about this before. Excuse me, I'm trying to cram in a breakfast here while recording this long video. We've talked about this before. So what she just told him was a lie. She's trying to bring up the gun in an organic way. It's kind of hard to do, but she says, hey, have you ever found out, was your gun ever found? Was it ever recovered? Again, like most detectives, she knows the answers to all the questions she's asking at this point, almost all of them. She wants to see if he knows, if he's ever followed up on whether it was found or not, whether he's accessed the database to see if it's been recovered or not. Just kind of gauging. It's kind of a crazy lie to tell as a detective, though, to provoke a response, because you'll see what's going to happen next, and she's going to reveal to him that, and Miles isn't stupid. He's a dumb criminal, and he's a bad dude, but he's not stupid. And if he's thinking clearly, in the next 10 minutes, he's going to realize why she knew the gun was recovered. Why did she ask me if I knew if it was recovered or if I heard anything about it, and then pretend to check? So this is kind of a weird little sequence here.
that's the missing note.
That is so cool.
I had an eyeglass appointment.
How did you do that? It's Pete.
Broken.
Oh, I thought you put that on there.
Broken.
No, I thought that you put that there in place of it.
Yeah.
Lord Jesus, I'm about to break more. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oakley. Standard issue. 45% discount. And they do prescription.
I know, but
hold on, it's been a while since I've been over there. Because I know that's the entrance. There's an exit on.
Yeah, there's an exit gate.
Remember when I talked about the other detective? He's kind of going to do his best Rocky from the Holtzclaw thing. She's talking to him about his sunglasses just as a distraction technique. She just brought up the gun, and she may have sensed a little nervousness in his voice or a little bit of a reaction that she didn't like. So she's changing the subject to his glasses just to kind of keep him, keep it light. And then the other detective, he just comes in with Oakley, 50% off, and blah, blah, blah. And he started talking about that. And she just immediately goes back to what she was talking about. Like, okay, now that he's done with this completely irrelevant non sequitur comment, and his body language is kind of like, he kind of puts his head down with like an aw shucks to like, why am I even talking? But it's kind of a funny little thing.
I know it's hard to see.
Go for
it.
Pool, exit gates. I think it's over here somewhere. It's right. I think it's right here. I think it's right there. Wait, that's a building. No.
It's kind of hard to see, right?
Yeah, it's over there in the area somewhere.
You ever park in these parking lots to like watch people come in and
right here?
Walk out? Yeah.
No.
Really?
At the.
That's probably a good idea to do.
Where at the
just park
that truck spot?
Either one. So either I think there's like a Mexican grocery store there used to be, and then there's a bunch of places like right there or across the street where Checkers used to be.
Yeah. Oh no.
I really want to. Well, I guess that since you're a courtesy officer, you probably don't want to get into shit.
I don't know. I look, you don't want to shit where I don't care about my job that much. Sit in a parking lot and watch for criminals. I don't care about.
Like I said, you don't want to shit where you eat. So
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
Didn't,
I ride around. That's it.
So the quote, "You don't shit where you eat," unquote, is what we talked about earlier. You don't really want to work where you live and live where you work. I've got my own experience with that so I was a police officer in a suburb of Detroit here for 20 plus years. And I retired, and I have a cottage on Lake Michigan. This is Michigan. And right here on the thumb of Michigan up here, so Detroit is down here. This is where I worked, like around here. About an hour and 20 minutes up the Detroit River, and then up Lake Huron. Right on Lake Huron, here's a little Victorian port town called Lexington. I've got a little cottage up there that it was abandoned, and I bought and fixed it up. It's nothing special, but it's a town of about 900 people that blossoms to about 5,000 people in the summertime because it's a resort town. But the chief up there had learned that I was living up there. This is probably 4 or 5 years ago, and learned that I was living up there, and approached me coming off the beach one day and said, "Hey, aren't you this cop from such and such location?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I hear you're retired." "Yeah, I heard you were a detective and a community resource officer and all these things." I mean, "Yeah." He goes, "Would you like a job?" And at the time, I'd had a few maybe regrets that I'd retired as early as I did and at the point in my career that I did. And so I thought, well, here's a chance. And he offered me a job as a sergeant. And I hadn't been a sergeant. I'd followed the sort of detective bureau and then into our community resource officer path. A separate path was like to be like a sergeant, a lieutenant, and then a commander and all that stuff. I took the other path. So I thought, well, that's kind of cool. And up there, it was basically the chief of police, the sergeant, and like 3 officers. That was it. So I'd be in charge of a few officers and kind of be in charge up there when the chief wasn't around, which was not very often. So I took the job, and after about 4 or 5 months, I realized I don't want to be working up here. This is where I come for peace and quiet and a vacation setting, and this is where I come to be not stressed. And now I've taken my non-stress place and turned it into my stress place because I work here. And in addition, like I talked about earlier, you have to arrest people that you know. You have to write citations to people that you know. You have to be the law and the man to people that are your neighbors. And it's not cool. So that's what they're talking about here. You don't, quote, shit where you eat and all that stuff. Just a little crass way of talking about it.
You're in the Army too, right? How long?
4 or 5 years now.
What's your MOS?
MP.
You're an MP?
Yeah.
Okay. Where you go to basic?
Fort Winter.
Fort Winter. How was that?
It's cold.
Oh, you went there in the winter?
Sorry to stop there so much, but there's a couple things I want to talk about. She does a lot of okays and girl and stuff like that. It's interesting. She's playing a role. She's obviously looked into Miles a little bit and gotten a taste of him, his age, his demographic, his sort of vibe and stuff like that. She's talked to people who know him already. She's probably talked to people in his department that know him already. And she's trying to kind of match her vibe and her spirit and her mood with what she thinks he'll respond to. And it's interesting when you see her on the stand. Like I said, I encourage you to go watch just her testimony if you don't want to watch the whole trial, but watch her testimony. It's really good. You can't even believe it's the same person. And that's what good detectives are able to do. They're able to match the vibe and sort of match the language and and fit in with the person they're talking to so that it's comfortable. And Miles definitely feels comfortable with her.
He went in between his junior and senior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah, that was basic, but for AIT.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you did it. They let you do it so you're reserve.
Yeah, National Guard.
Oh, you're National Guard. Okay, that probably had to be weird, and then go from like a structural life to go back and then finish. Oh, that'd be annoying. And then, so where'd you go to AIT at? Really? That's the same. That sucks. Because I remember, so I went to to Jackson, and everyone talk about how
Are you in the Guard?
Jackson.
Or
No, I was in the Army.
Oh, okay.
So everyone talk about how Fort Jackson was so easy. So I was like, oh, bet this is about to be awesome. I get there and I got a fucking wake up call, and it was not easy. But then I went to AIT in San Antonio, and it was so much fun.
You a medic?
Medical logistics.
Oh, okay.
So I did 10 years. But I got out when I had my son. I was like, I can't do this no more. And then I was transitioned from active duty to reserve, and it was horrible. I don't know how you do guard. It's horrible.
So I'm about to get out. It sucks, but I'm trying to save money, you know?
Where do you drill at?
Monroe.
In Monroe?
Yeah, or Decatur. Decatur's the main one.
Okay, y'all go back and forth?
Yeah, 170 the battalion in Decatur.
170th? 170th what?
This MP is a company.
170th MP? Yeah. Okay. So when you are very drill, they just put you like in a, like, do you do MP shit, or you sit in a corner like every other person? And okay, see, that's annoying. That's what I do.
Absolutely not.
See, I would think you would give like the people at the gate a break.
So we don't, it's not really a gate. It's an armory, so it's like a little building. That's it. You know?
Okay. Well, just sucks.
Yeah. It sounds terrible.
Okay. All right. So your gun. I want to check that really quick to see if it was found. Oh my goodness. Plus,
Miles is next level stupid if he believes that this detective has waited until the moment she's just talking with him to check and see if his gun's been found. Which Miles should be asking himself, if he was innocent, what does my gun have to do with why you're talking to me about this girl? I mean, I'm just quite surprised he doesn't call her out on this charade that she's engaging in right now. It's kind of funny.
I can get it back for you.
What kind of gun was it?
It's a Glock.
Glock? Yeah. Like a new one, or because they just came out with the Glock 47.
No, it was a Glock 19. Glock 19. I love that because I miss it.
Yeah. Did you replace it?
No.
Dang.
I carried my SIG.
Yeah.
I mainly SIG. So
like
I love that gun, but I never really carried it.
Have you looked at staccatos?
I heard about those. Yeah.
I got one.
But we just went to SIG 2 P226s.
Yeah.
So the striker fire, I'm still trying to get used to the double single action.
Yeah.
So that's what you use at work, a SIG?
So I'll nerd out on you guys for a little second here. I'm not a gun guy, all right? Never was. I'd never fired a gun before the police academy. Never one time. Not even a BB gun. Like, I didn't have that type of upbringing. I live in Michigan. It's a gun culture here, not only in the city, but certainly in the country. Lots of hunting and stuff like that. So I get why people here are gun people. And guns are interesting. I find them interesting. I like mechanical devices. I like gadgets. And guns are both. They're gadgets and they're mechanical devices. But not a gun dude. But I will tell you, I'll explain what he's talking about here. He's talking about a SIG P226 is his duty weapon. Coincidentally enough, that was the same as my duty weapon. So he's talking about double action, the double single action. What he's talking about is when you pull the trigger on a gun, the first trigger pull of a loaded, unfired P226 semi-automatic handgun, the first trigger pull is called double action. It takes more pounds of pressure to pull the trigger. That's sort of a safety feature. The P226 doesn't have a safety. It's to prevent an actual or any type of accidental trigger pull or squeezing. You have to apply quite a bit of finger pressure to get that first shot off. But SIG realizes that once you've pulled the trigger once, you probably want to fire some more, and then it's called single action, where the next trigger pulls, you hardly have to apply any pressure at all. But when you hold a gun and squeeze a trigger, you have to steady the weapon, and when you're applying pressure with your finger, it naturally wants to pull the gun back up like this. So it takes a while to get used to that double action where you're kind of almost leaning into the gun a little bit to counteract your finger pull. But then the next successive shots are just quick like this, and you don't need that lean. So a lot of times when people first fire a SIG, their first shot is on target, but then the rest of them start to go down because you're still leaning into it to counteract that pressure. So it's just kind of nerd gun stuff there. But that's what he's talking about, double single action with the SIG. Glocks are not like that, which is the weapon that got left at the murder scene that he used to murder, probably used to murder Susana Morales.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like this cool. I ain't really. I carried it when I used to do like off duty work sometimes. I haven't carried it, and even before it was stolen, I didn't carry it in a minute. It was just in the truck, more like a if I need it. Yeah.
Ooh, I remember why I asked about you sitting on the side too. Let me see. So when you look, I'm not judging you. I literally been there, done that with you and your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You didn't leave the complex ever. She didn't have your location.
No, she didn't have my location, but I used to drive around like a lot.
Yeah, no, there was like a movie, or not a movie, there was security footage that the family went and got, and it looks like, I was wondering if maybe that was like you sitting in the parking lot, because it's really close to the exit, and it would make sense like if you were sitting there, just like watching, but you're patrolling, I get it, but also like listening to your girlfriend, because that's what I would do.
Where at? In
Let me see. It's like
Plaza?
It's like right out there. Let me here's the video. I'm gonna pull it up for you.
Yeah, if you get a chance, give us staccato.
Staccato.
Yeah, I'm sitting next. So you're good. I'm just sitting next to you.
Axon Cash.
Gotta use Axon?
Yeah.
I think they're monopolizing the whole thing.
I think it's good. I like it. So it's a kind of a video, but it looks like there's a black truck over here, and I know that you patrol in your truck. So, but it's like right there by the exit. So I was like, oh, maybe that's him. But if you were talking,
right there?
Yeah.
No, that's not me.
Okay.
Yeah, I never went to what is that the gas station?
I don't even know what it is. The family got it.
Oh, yeah, no.
I think it's a adult daycare or something. It's not a business that you would expect.
Oh, I know you're talking about, yeah, no.
Okay. Where is that?
Like daycare?
Yeah.
The daycare?
Mm-hmm.
I know that's right there before across from Tech. I know where that. Tech drive the check and stuff is. It's right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember how I ever sat there.
And you haven't heard anything?
No, I haven't.
Have you had any suspicious person?
I told you, like, these people that walk through the neighborhood. Yeah. That's it. Like, I wouldn't even think the guy I told you about. I don't think because he just
the blue sky guy.
Yeah. I don't think he.
And that's just ridiculous that he expects them to believe this. So a girl goes missing and is found in the woods several months later from the apartment complex that you live in, that you're the courtesy officer in, and you've already admitted that you patrol, you talk to these guys, you know these people. And when she says, you haven't heard anything? And he goes, no. Ridiculous. If you were just a decent cop, you would use your position as courtesy officer to start shaking the bushes and talking to people. And every time you saw somebody walking around, you'd ID them, you'd talk to them, and you'd share that information with the police. You'd start asking around. You would go talk to the guys who said, they said they were arguing with her. These guys were arguing with her the day before she went missing. You'd go talk to them. Not only as a police officer, but as the courtesy officer, you have unique access to the area in which she was abducted and the people that were around when she was abducted. And you've heard nothing and you've done nothing. And you expect them to believe that, Miles?
He's just a dope head.
Yeah. This is the area.
Oh, I'm sorry. We just don't have anywhere else.
You're good. This is random and everything. I get random, but
we're just doing everything we can to figure out this girl.
Have you watched the news? Like, they're doing the same thing they do for us anyway. Like
so my girlfriend told me something. Started going to sue with it. I'm suing the police.
Honestly,
they're
not
roasting our department. I don't know why.
She literally did drugs and
for real?
Yeah, she smoked. She not hardcore drugs, but she smoked weed.
Everybody smokes weed.
Exactly.
So a couple things just happened there that were interesting. The detective is trying to not victim shame the victim, because she would never do that. And as emotional as she was in her testimony, you could tell that she's torn up about this murder. But what she's trying to do is make Miles know, hey, this victim, this girl, man, she wasn't what everybody thinks she is. She wasn't this sweet little innocent 15-year-old. She did drugs. She smoked weed. You know, she was kind of different than the press is putting her out to be. I think they're trying to open Miles up a little bit to, you know, think, oh, okay, she's not like this sweet innocent victim, and maybe I can say some stuff. I don't know. It's an interesting tactic, and I actually like it. It takes some of the pressure off of the viciousness of this crime, maybe in Miles's eyes, if she wasn't quite the little angel that the press was putting her out to be, and developing all this sympathy.
I don't smoke weed or relax. I don't smoke weed. I smoked weed before I started working here. High school. Yeah. I'm getting my surgeon to check.
Sorry, the other thing I was going to say on that one is you heard him mention Miranda, and I think he said under his breath something about he's trying to get like perp vibes. He's starting to get perp vibes, which means he's like in the perp hot seat. And she said, hey man, we just don't have anywhere else to go. This is the only place we can interview. Well, that's a lie. They could have interviewed him at his house. They could have interviewed him in the conference room. They could have interviewed in the lobby. He knows he's in the perp interview room, in the perp seat, and they apparently off camera, probably there was a little cut at the beginning when she came in and she said, oh, are you mad at me? And then there was a little cut and then it went right into questioning. I think that's when she Mirandized him. She was smart enough to do that. So he's definitely getting perp vibes now and he's feeling it. His body language is all over the map too. He's sometimes like this. He's sometimes leaning back with his arms crossed. He's sometimes leaning in. He's the nervous tension's ramping up.
Because my computer, I don't want it to die right now.
Being never sitting in plastic or nothing.
Do you know if your complex has cameras?
I was just talking to them about that, bro. I think they do, but I don't know if they work.
Yeah, Miles. So you know they do, and you know they work because you use them to spy on people. And this is another just dumb lie. These dumb cops, these dumb murdering cops tell the dumbest lies. You're a police officer, Miles. You know they're going to look into this. You know they're going to go to the office. You know they're going to talk to the people there. And those people there are going to say, oh yeah, Miles would come in all the time and watch the cams. And I believe one of them even says, yeah, he even told us once he was watching his girlfriend on the cams because she was cheating on him. So why tell this ridiculous lie of, I don't know if they have cameras or not. I don't think they do. Dumb.
I've seen them, but I don't know if they work. It's so stupid. A lot of them. I told them, like, I don't have access to it. I asked the whole property manager for access to them, and she was like, I don't know if I have access, And I was like, okay, they don't. I didn't kind of push the issue. But it could definitely help the internals. Yeah, but a lot of the internals don't go report it. Because I told you, like, the residents, like, the guy Fabian, he's one of the assistants. He called me, he was like, hey, 32, got his car broken into, stuff. I was like, okay, did you get the reports of it? No, they didn't call the police. He said, they have to call the police, make a report. Well, it might help.
I mean, if you just don't care about your stuff or getting it back, whatever, but a lot of the complexes down there don't have cameras, and it's a shame.
It's crazy because it's so cheap, you know? Like,
and we could definitely it could help solve and link a lot more things. Yeah. Or at least get flock cameras. Do y'all utilize flock on the road? Yeah. Flock's amazing.
So let's talk about that for a minute because that's in the news. This guy just mentioned flock cameras. For those of you that don't know what flock cameras are these, there's just a small camera, usually like with a little solar panel above them on a pole that you'll see on the side of the road. What they do is they read license plates. That's all they do. They have AI software technology in them that recognizes the shape and numbers on license plates, and every time a car with a license plate goes by, front or back, it takes a note of that license plate and logs it in a computer system and says this vehicle was at this spot at this time. That's all it does. It's just data logging, okay? If you are a detective later and you're like, okay, I'm looking for a suspect vehicle of this type, you can go into the flock system and say, give me all of the 2005 to 2010 Chevy Malibus that went by this location at a certain time. So let's just say you had like a murder. Somebody saw the vehicle fleeing. It was a 2000 something Chevy Malibu. You can now go into Flock and say, okay, I know my murder occurred at 10:30 p.m. Give me all of the Chevy Malibus that went by this Flock camera location, which is 2 blocks away from the murder scene, between the hours of 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. on this night. And then you'll get a string of license plates, vehicle descriptions, registered owners, and you can start, whittling down things. Where I live, they just solved a attempted abduction case in Fraser, Michigan, by using Flock cameras. They had a vehicle description or a plate, I think, and they were able to use the Flock cameras to actually find this abducted person. Now, here's the other side to it. The other side to it is this is a violation of my rights. This is an illegal search and seizure. This is illegal surveillance. To which I say, your license plate is issued by the government, and you are by law mandated to put it on your car. That's the cost of having a vehicle in the United States. It's in plain view. That license plate is available for anybody in the public to take a video or a picture of. Anybody can record your vehicle in public anytime they want. You're just free to do that. It's in plain view in the public. You guys have seen these auditors, guys that set up outside of places and they record vehicles and license plate numbers and stuff like that, and people flip out and lose their minds. I don't want to be recorded. You don't have my permission, all that stuff. Yeah, if you're in public, you are free to be recorded. Your license plate is certainly free to be recorded. I would even argue an extra extension that if the government issues your license plate, they're free to record it whenever they want, but that's a separate argument. But I understand people don't want to feel like they're being tracked and followed and surveilled and stuff like that. You're not really being surveilled. Are you being tracked? Is your location being tracked? Yes, but it's not being tracked in a nefarious way by the government to learn your whereabouts for no reason. The only time your information would come up in a Flock camera search is if your vehicle matches the description in either plate or vehicle description of a suspect vehicle, and then the police will investigate further. And if you have no relationship or reason to be a suspect in a crime, you're never even going to know that it was searched or anything like that. Now, all of the Flock cameras are getting all of the press right now, and people are cutting them down, and people are voting to have them removed from their communities and stuff like that. What people are also forgetting, though, is that not only are there police officers who, during the course of their shift, will just run license plates of vehicles in front of them, next to them, behind them, all day long. That's one thing police officers do. You see a vehicle, you run the plate. You see if it's suspended driver, if the driver's got warrants, if the license is suspended, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Happens a million times a day in the United States. Officers running plates, just randomly driving around. There doesn't seem to be any complaining about that. That's what a Flock camera's doing. Actually, a Flock camera's even doing less than that. But also you have what are called LPR cars. LPR cars have a special camera inside them that is basically a Flock camera, but it's in the car that recognizes license plates. And as the police officer drives around, anytime that camera recognizes a license plate in its field of vision, it records the location of that vehicle the same way a Flock camera does. So I don't know if the anti-Flock camera people don't know about LPR cars or not, but all of that stuff is out there. But I understand both sides to it. As a law enforcement officer who would utilize those things as tools to prevent crimes and solve crimes, I understand the other side as well, the sort of ACLU side of it, which is this is an invasion of privacy, this is tracking people, data logging people's locations and stuff like that. I understand both sides. Can make an argument for both sides. So, but it's interesting that he just brought that up. So I thought we'd talk about it since it's in the news right now.
Oh man. Okay. He's looking on.
Sorry, and I meant to add well, we'll talk about two things now since she just said that. First of all, she just said, we hope to get you out of here soon. That's a key thing to say regularly in a long interrogation, or certainly interrogation of a police officer. You don't want them to think that they are not getting out of there. You don't want them to think that they're going to jail. You want to remind them, hey, we'll be done with this soon. You'll be out of here. When you get home, give us a call later, or, sure, you'll even in the Stephanie Lazarus thing, those guys were just like, hey, Stephanie, if you think of something later, you're having a hard time thinking of things now, but if you think of something later, you'll just call us, right? It's good to let them know they're leaving. But also with the whole flock camera thing is Miles, the reason the detective asked that question is Miles, they already know this too. Miles searched for flock camera locations either in his car computer or on some device that they're already aware of this. He searched for flock camera locations shortly after he committed this murder because he didn't think about it the night he committed the murder because he was so wrapped up in his sexual deviancy that he wasn't thinking clearly when he did this. He wasn't thinking about surveillance cameras and flock cameras. But after the murder, he thought, oh shit, what if they caught my car on a flock camera going out to where I dumped the body or coming back or in the area of the abduction or whatever? I better check and see where the flock cameras are. So that's kind of why they're bringing this up.
After that, sorry, hopefully we can get you out here soon. What building are they usually outside smoking weed at? Do you know?
Probably manager probably would know if she get more complaints than I do. I've heard that when you first pull in the complex, you go past the trash cans. Oh, right, so there's loud music. Yeah, loud music there. I would say there. That's I don't really know. Nobody really on my side. I'm downstairs there where he smokes weed. They smoke in the bathroom. I don't care. But I don't trip about weed, bro.
No, there's too much of it out there to learn
about weed, man.
I use the weed to get in the car and find the other drugs.
Yeah,
that's
weed, man.
That's the way to do it.
So, which route do you?
Let's just talk about what he said. Interesting. I'm sorry, you guys. There's just so much interesting stuff in this one. So what that one detective just said is they were talking about smoking weed and whether or not you bust people for weed or not or whatever. And the detective said, you know what? I used weed, the smell of weed, to get into the car to get the other drugs. So in my state of Michigan, weed has been decriminalized and legal for several years now. I want to say maybe 6 or 7. We have marijuana dispensaries here where you can just walk in off the street and buy a big bag of weed and edibles and all that stuff. And it's just part of the culture here. Colorado, Denver was one of the first places to start this. And now around here, it's just, there's a weed dispensary 4 blocks from my house. So on the main drag through here. So, and there was probably a 6 to 8 year period where in Michigan you could get your medical marijuana card, which if you got a doctor to sign off that you needed to smoke marijuana or take edibles or THC for a variety of ailments, everything from anxiety to glaucoma to whatever, cancer treatment. You could get a medical marijuana card and you were allowed to possess so many plants. You were allowed to possess so much marijuana on your person. There was a transition period where once that sort of took effect, where us as law enforcement in Michigan, we just stopped caring about marijuana, just completely stopped caring about it. As soon as it was legal to grow it, legal to possess it, I don't say we didn't completely care about it because we did bust several grow operations that were illegal where they had hundreds of plants and stuff like that, where people were trying to take advantage of the new laxity in the laws. But towards the end there, weed was just something that police officers, as a matter of fact, a DEA supervisor once told me, don't even call us with your weed stuff anymore. This was a couple years before it was legal in Michigan. They're like, we're not worried about it. Fentanyl and heroin is a way bigger deal right now that we need to worry about than these pseudo illegal marijuana things. So that's an interesting thing though that he said though, but I want to talk about that. So in Michigan, before marijuana was legal, we had all of these drug dogs that were trained, and they were trained to smell marijuana, cocaine, methamphetamines, fentanyl, stuff like that. They were trained on all of them. And a dog can't give you a tell when it smells cocaine versus marijuana. It just tells you, oh, I'm smelling marijuana in this car. So often, as a police officer, you would call out the dog to come out and sniff around the car. If the dog gave a tell that there was something in the car, then you had probable cause to search the car without the driver's consent. Once marijuana became legal in Michigan, all of those drug dogs had to be retired, because if marijuana is legal and the dog hits, it could be hitting on a legal substance, which means you don't have probable cause. So it was an interesting part of the law. And before marijuana did become legal, when I told you we didn't really care about weed, it was sort of the attitude of this detective, which is, I don't care about the marijuana, but the marijuana gives me a legal right to get in the car. Well, now, if I smell marijuana coming out of a car, I don't have a right to get in the car. Even though you can't smoke and drive or drive under the influence of marijuana in Michigan, you could just be hotboxing in your car in your driveway at home, and that's why your car smells like weed. So I don't have the right to go in I don't have probable cause to get in your car anymore just because I smell marijuana. So even what he's saying now, and this is, several years ago, I used the marijuana, and I don't think Georgia's a legal state, so it probably is still legal in Georgia, but or it's probably okay for him to use the smell of marijuana to get into a car in Georgia is what I'm saying, but in Michigan it's not. It's a legal substance. The odor of it doesn't give me probable cause to believe that a crime's being committed and get into your car.
Usually take to drill.
Drill. I take 316. 316. I get off on Harbins and go that route.
I have no idea where Monroe is. I probably should.
So 316, you get off on Harbins, you take a right, and you just keep straight all the way down.
Okay, and then I'm from Henry County, so I don't know. I just live here now, but I don't leave on that usually. So you go out there for drill, and then y'all have AT or something, right?
AT, yeah.
Okay. Do you ever go out there for anything else other than drill?
Well, my grandma lives in Marsville.
That's not down 316.
No, she lives in Marsville, down 316 there, but
not towards like Barrow,
like
Monroe and Harbin.
Yeah, so we have a range out there in Barrow. I have family that live in Winder.
When you say they, who? Like the department or?
Yeah, we use Barrow County range, so.
Oh, right.
They let you use that range. They won't let us use
I used to go to the Academy in Athens, so I just drive.
Okay.
I like to drive, especially when I'm into it with my girlfriend. I drive to Atlanta, stuff like that.
Okay. All right. So basically, my sergeant just confirmed. So we did find your gun. Actually, yeah. So that just like raises suspicion even more. Not with you, but like I think it's the same person who probably, because it wasn't listed as stolen before, but I couldn't figure out who had found it. But you watch the news, we found Savannah, but there was actually a gun found out there too.
For real?
Yeah. And it's the same serial number. He just verified it.
It's crazy.
I know. So help me walk.
That's crazy. Did you see him? When she first told him, he went, and he did it again. That's crazy. This little charade of her, my sergeant just confirmed that the gun that was found out there is, I mean, it's a little, he seems to be buying it, but it's a little crazy. I do like how she laid the groundwork for, hey, you're not a suspect though. She said, we think, it was found by her body, and we're thinking that the person that took it from your car, that it's involved. Not you, but that whoever took it from your car is probably the suspect and abducted her from the same parking lot as the gun was taken from. So she's smart to slide that in so he's not getting full on perp vibes yet.
Through it a little bit, like help me some kind of way. Did you ever go out there do you know where she was found?
316 somewhere.
Yeah, do you ever go in the woods and stuff out there?
In the woods, no.
Is there any reason why you would have dropped it out there maybe?
No.
Do y'all do any training out there or anything?
Not over there at least.
Okay. So I'm just curious.
That's Detective 101 there, and you guys know that. Whenever you've got a crime scene, the first thing you do, you saw that in the Russell Williams, the last video, you know, there were all those footprints and snow, tire prints in the snow behind the last victim's house. And one of the first questions that John Smith, the detective, asked him, and that one is there any reason that you would have ever been behind this woman's house with your car or walking around? And he said, no. You love to get that lie, because if they say, well, yeah, you know, I was out walking my dog around there and he got loose and ran up by the house, or, you know, I got a flat tire and I pulled off the road and then I had to circle around behind. Those actually hurt you, those type of lies, because, okay, now they've put themselves at the crime scene and I've got to prove that they were at the crime scene for a nefarious reason. But if they just flat out say no, and most of these dummies aren't smart enough to put themselves at the crime scene, but for a legitimate way, most of them want to distance themselves from that crime scene. It's just great. Tell me the lie that you've never been out there for any reason whatsoever. There was some questioning a few minutes ago about, oh, where do you drill? Where do you drill for the National Guard? Well, I take 316 out to the base out there. Well, she was found off of this 316 road that they keep talking about, this 316. That's why she's asking him, you know, do you ever take 316 other than go out to drill? Do you ever go out to the woods out there? And he's like, no, never go out there. Perfect. Because we found your gun and your phone pinged out there, bro. So how do you explain now that you've told me you've never been there, but your gun and your phone pinging out there is a thing? So it's great to get that positive no.
So crazy.
That's crazy, yeah.
Wow. So you only go over there when you have to go to drill and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Dang. So do y'all do
Like woodland ops or anything?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of like military training.
No.
For like SWAT, we do woodland ops.
Yeah. But no, if we do, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't.
If you're watching this, which I know some of you just listen to it, but those of you that aren't listening to it or aren't watching it and just listening to it, I'll try and describe what's going on the screen. Miles actually just like lifted up his chair and scooched it back. He's up against a wall, so he can only go back so far, but he actually moved it to the back and to the right a little bit because she's so much in his personal space. I think her foot is touching his foot or was touching his foot or his leg. And her left leg is like almost between his legs, and she's come around to, I mean, you saw where the one detective was sitting. He was sitting at the end of the table. She's almost all the way around the table on his side of the table now, and he's getting very uncomfortable. He's getting uncomfortable with the questioning, but uncomfortable with her being so close.
It wouldn't be a Fort Stewart. It wouldn't be in our area. It wouldn't be in our area.
They make you go all the way down there?
Yes, we right. See stuff.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that drive. They give you good barracks down there.
It's decent.
Yeah.
I ran for McCullen in Alabama.
Where's that? I've never been there.
It's in Alabama.
Okay.
That's crazy. If I'm not gun.
So,
You guys involved?
I mean, that's a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
Because I think it got stolen from you the same day, so it's probably someone that was walking around out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about.
It's really weird.
Try to think hard with me.
Yeah, Miles, that's a crazy coincidence that they found your gun out there and that your gun went missing the morning after she was murdered. It's a crazy coincidence. Miles hasn't been a cop very long, but when you've been a cop for even more than a year, you learn that coincidences are not to be ignored, and that police officers, if they don't believe in coincidences, they certainly pay attention to them and follow up on them and disprove them before just ignoring them. That her language there should have perked his ears up a little bit.
Even if it's like a pattern that you normally do, I really need you right now. I'm sorry.
Did you know her at all, Morales? Nothing? Never saw her like playing basketball or anything with the other kids?
Never. I didn't recognize her at all. That is crazy.
Well, good news we have your gun.
At least it's not in the hands of some criminal, you know? But at least it's found.
Back now.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so we're...
They play off the whole gun thing. Miles knows he left his gun out there. So Miles murdered her around 10:30, 11 p.m. and then went home. And then the next morning actually went back out to the woods where he dumped her body. And his phone was pinging out there for, I think, like a half an hour. He knew he left his gun out there. His gun had a flashlight on it. The speculation is that he was using the flashlight on the gun to find a good place to hide her body. And, by handling a body, he probably had to set it down at some point because he still has the holster to it in his car. So he was either carrying it or just had it tucked in his pants or something, whatever. But at some point he set it down or it fell out of his pants when he was dumping Susana's body. And he went back out the following morning for half an hour looking for it. So he knows the gun's out there. And when he learns that Susana is found, he's probably so uptight into wondering whether or not they found the gun. But like most smart police departments, most smart detectives, even if they hold press conferences and things like that, which my department was really good about not really ever doing because you don't want the public to know anything. You don't want your perp to know anything. So you don't give out evidence. They withheld the information that a gun was found near her body. And Miles is learning for the first time, your gun was found next to the body. So his reaction is genuine.
Were you watching your girlfriend at that point already?
When? That night?
In June, yeah.
I think so.
I mean, July, sorry.
I think so.
When was the first time she cheated on you?
It's been probably back and forth months and out of months.
So since y'all been together like 3 years, right?
It's been months. It's
So-
back and forth.
Watch us call it. I mean, I love
They did, that's what they do. But you're young, you're like, I feel so different. Like, I thought I got married when I was a little bit younger than you, probably like 20, and then now it's like we're completely different people. So take a break, you never know. Maybe that's what y'all are doing now with the thing. So you don't remember when she started cheating on you and you started watching her?
It's been off and on, her messing with other guys, stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's not actually really taught us stuff like that. But when I say we're never there, we drive around a lot, me and her both.
Where y'all go?
Everywhere. We literally drive in circles.
Think of some places. Think somewhere. Do you go anywhere locally over there?
We drive in circles sometimes.
Why?
That's what we do.
You just drive in circles?
She'll turn on music.
Yeah, it's too expensive for that.
So last night I went to a part-time.
Don't you have diesel? Do you have diesel?
No.
I don't know about trucks. So.
I went to a part-time last night in Atlanta. She dropped me off and she literally drove around Atlanta from 7 to 12.
In your work car?
No, my truck.
Oh, you work part-time in your truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a city part, it's like a side job. Right?
Oh, okay. All right. Feeling wet.
Just for security.
So was it, you were like in your police uniform? Like,
Yeah, it was just security thing. And just pat people down at the door, make sure bring guns in.
They let y'all do that?
Was it cash?
Just hook them out. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
They let y'all do that? Or it's like a DL kind of thing?
No, they let us. Yeah.
Okay.
Not through the city, but they let us. As long as I'm not acting as Doorville, stuff like that, I don't shoot nobody or nothing. Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy though.
Man, y'all got a lot looser restrictions. Our part-times are very, gotta be Gwinnett, gotta be this, gotta be that.
All right.
Very strict.
I need you to think really hard though with me. I'm dependent on you right now. Look, I want to be like Doraville police officer, help us solve the Susana Morales case. Think of anybody that was out there that night, because I know you were out there patrolling that night. Think of anything.
That's all I can really think of. Me and my girlfriend was actually arguing that night.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say things like to be honest or actually or to tell you the truth, if I'm being honest, that's usually a shift in I've been lying to you, but now I'm going to give you some information that's the truth. Miles, I'm sure, remembers every minute of that night. It's the night you murdered somebody, Miles. And unless that's a frequent occurrence with you, which there's some speculation that there are some victims that we don't even know of yet, because of things that he said to his jail cellmate. But he says, actually, me and my girlfriend were arguing that night. So he sort of had amnesia before, like a lot of these officers do when they're being interrogated. And now he's remembering, oh yeah, me and my girlfriend were arguing. And wait till you hear about the level of arguing that they were going through. And he expects these detectives to believe that he just suddenly remembered this crazy, chaotic sequence of events that he's about to describe.
Oh, I think I just driving around.
What were y'all arguing about?
I got caught up with my side piece, and it's been back and forth. And that was around the same time. I think I just got back from Florida or something. That's around the same time.
How did you get caught up?
My own story.
No, you got me invested now. Now I need some tea. Tell me.
When I went to Florida, I told her I was on a SWAT trip. Oh. Yeah, she found out that the girl was there, pictures and stuff.
You never let them take pictures of you.
I was getting mad. It was stupid.
You were doing what?
Just getting back at her. She, you know,
So you had just got back from Florida?
Yeah, I think not too long ago, yeah.
Okay, and then she caught you, and the other girl posted it on social media, and then y'all were fighting about it. Did y'all fight while y'all were out?
No, we're out. It's every day. Every day. I say it's every day. Every day.
Yeah, I know you said you remembered that you were fighting with her that night.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, like, what made you remember that part? Maybe do you remember it because you remember a certain place? Like, what triggers that memory?
Just that night when you said patrolling and stuff like that, I remember that night was just riding around, I was mad at her and stuff like that. We ended up meeting at the QT later.
Yeah.
I don't know what night.
I think you did say that. You did tell the officer that, like, you had talked to one of our sergeants or something at a QT.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all met at the QT to talk about it or something?
And we was at chill. I ended up doing a report and everything.
You did a report?
I did a report right there.
For what? Oh, you were working?
Oh, no, I wasn't working. I was in my personal truck, but I had my laptop. I ride around. When I get mad, I ride around, do reports, ride around, do reports.
You have to take reports.
Okay. This is either just insane or a lie that is quickly going to get disproved. He's trying to get this detective to believe that on the night Susana Morales was murdered and the night that he's fighting with his girlfriend and he's just riding around in his truck, that he pulls over at the QT, the gas station, and decides to pull out his work laptop at 10, 11 p.m. and work on reports, police reports, that he hasn't finished yet. On his off day at 10 p.m. at the gas station in the middle of fighting with his girlfriend. So many levels of just stupid to believe. But not only that, it can be easily disproven because when you are in the police report writing system, every time you log in, every time you make a keystroke, every time you open a report, close a report, open up a part of a report, even look at a report, it's logged. And someone can go back later and audit the activity on that report. So this can be disproven. He's just a dummy.
Yeah.
On a road, at the road. I'm not downplaying you, but I'm like, damn, they make you take reports home? I would have never done that as a road.
No, not on the road.
Are you on crime suppression, or you just work as a regular
patrol officer?
Okay. So you were working that time. You didn't have like AT or anything.
Yeah, I was on. That was regular.
Regular work.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know did you work that night?
That night?
Were you off that night?
I don't know.
I can't remember I don't know your schedule.
So I work nights. I don't know. We just switched over to night shift. I don't know the exact dates. When did we switch over to night shift? I don't know. That whole area, that whole time is just because we do shift over in July. Mm-hmm. So I know I just got put back on nights. I don't know what day I was working or what day I was. They had it, whatever day that I was arguing with my girlfriend, stuff like that, I wasn't working. And then wherever day I was working, I wasn't there, so.
Okay. A little bit about your gun, too. So, I worked a ton of, entering autos before, and I read, entering auto reports. What kind of holster? Explain to me the holster. Because it's odd that someone would leave the holster behind, too. Is there some reason in particular they may have? Is it, engraved to you or something?
No, it's a We the People holster. It just...
Is that a brand?
Yeah. Okay. It's a We the People holster. It sits when I did have it.
Mm-hmm.
I used to keep it, I carry my SIG P320. I carry that off duty everywhere. But it sits on the passenger side, inside the seat. So what I was thinking about.
Oh, in that little.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wonder if they grab it, and it's easy. light retention, you know. Just,
Oh, okay, so they may have just pulled it and got out.